Order in accordance with, this is the zoning board meeting of May 21st, 2026, in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. Adequate notice of this regular meeting of the zoning board of the Township of Franklin's been provided. Board members, applicant, professionals, members of the public, please speak directly into microphones so that our recording secretary can properly process minutes. Applicants and professionals, please fill out the sheet on the table when you've completed your testimony. Thank you. And would you call the roll, please?
John, the sheet is over to your, yeah, you're right. Okay. Kunal Lakia and Cheryl Bethia asked to be excused this evening. Richard Prokanik. Vasim Verdas.
Here.
Alan Rich.
Here.
Gary Rosenthal.
Here.
Robert Shepard.
Here.
Michael Doherty. Chairman Thomas.
Here. Moving to hearings. 11 properties, ZBA 24-00001 was a preliminary and final major site plan with C variances in which the applicant proposed to construct a 4-story apartment building at 940 Easton Avenue, Somerset, Block 385, Lot 2.07 in the GB zone. This application has been withdrawn. The Islamic Circle of North America, ZBA 25-00024, D1 use variance in which the applicant seeks approval for interior renovations, converting a portion of the premises from office use to a prayer room house of worship, 1320 Hamilton Street, Block 90, Lot 3 in the B1 zone is carried to a date to be determined. It's not going to be heard tonight, and a new notification will be needed. Art Heinrich, ZBA 26-00004. It's a D1 use variance in which the applicant seeks approval to convert the second floor from storage space to living space at 6 Hawthorne Drive, Somerset, Block 126, Lot 194 in the HBO zone. This has been carried to June 4th. Notification needed to outside agencies. First hearing for tonight, Iglesia Cristiana Refugio Incorporated, ZBA 26-00001, D3 conditional use variance and site plan, which the applicant proposes to utilize the existing 2-story frame building as a house of worship at 680 Easton Avenue, Somerset, Block 322, lots 1 through 9 in the OP zone. And go ahead.
Green light on.
No, the small button in the back, and then turn the big square on. Turn red, right? Or green. There you go.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, Chairman, board members. My name is John DeLuca, the law firm Salvo Schock. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Iglesia Cristiana Refugio Incorporated. This is a non-profit house of worship organization. We're here for application number ZBA 26-00001, and it's for the property located at 680 Easton Avenue. That's block 322, lots 1 through 7, and lot 9. So it's 8 parcels total. They're skinny parcels, and we'll display them and show them in a moment, but it's lots 1 through 7 and lot 9. This is in the OP zoning district. It's the office professional zone, where places of worship are treated as a permitted but conditional use pursuant to the standards set forth at section 112-37 in the Township Code. Right now, the existing conditions of the site, it's a half-acre site with an existing 2-story office building. It has a rear parking lot with access from Girard Avenue. It's situated at the corner of Easton and Girard. The existing office building on the site is a little bit over 4,600 square feet, and our architect and engineer will describe what exists there and what's proposed in a little bit more detail. But the applicant proposes no external, or I should say no expansion to the building whatsoever. There will be interior renovations and some altering of the windows, but no additions to the building, and no increase in height or anything like that. So the interior work would reconfigure the existing building to accommodate a prayer hall, an altar, a baptismal area, a kitchen, and fellowship rooms, offices, foyer, storage area, and restrooms. The prayer hall occupancy will max out at 64 occupants. The applicant also proposes to mill and repave the parking lot so that the existing parking can better accommodate the proposed house of worship, providing 23 parking spaces and 2 ADA accessible spaces. To do all this, we require several items of relief. All of them getting bumped up to the D3 variance, because although they are related to bulk deviations, because this is a conditional use and we're seeking relief for deviations from those conditional use standards, this is a D3 variance. And I will note there are only 5 voting members sitting on the board tonight, so we'll see how the hearing goes, and we'll address that issue later on. But I do note that all 5 of your votes will be required for an approval tonight. So the specific standards that we're seeking relief from will be the parking requirement, where the TRC has determined that 54 spaces are required and only 23 spaces are proposed. So that's a 31 space deficiency. The front yard setback of the building, where 50 feet is required, only 22.4 feet is existing and proposed. So no changes are proposed there, but it is an existing 27.6 foot deviation. Same goes for the front setback. 50 feet is required. Only 19.7 feet are existing and proposed. So it's a 30.3 foot deviation. And finally, we do deviate from the buffer landscaping requirement, where between 15 and 25 feet is required with double rows, evergreen shrubs, and a 6-foot fence. There is existing vegetation in that area, which we will display and get into a little bit more with the testimony and exhibits presented by our professionals. But we are requesting a relief from that requirement, given the existing vegetation in that area. We will be presenting 5 witnesses tonight. The first, you'll hear fact testimony from Ingrid Blanco, a member of the congregation who has a prepared statement. You'll hear from our site engineer, Ron Sadowski. You'll hear from Ruchi Dar, our architect. Elizabeth Dolan is our traffic engineer, and Kevin O'Brien is our professional planner. For the sake of the record, I will note that adequate notice of this hearing has been published and served on all property owners within 200 feet, and an affidavit of those services have been provided to the board's professionals. So unless there's any legal questions for me or any housekeeping matters, I would ask that my first witness, Ms. Ingrid Blanco, be sworn in to testify.
Okay, go ahead.
Blanco, would you raise your right hand, please? Testimony you're about to give is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You have to speak much louder than that. And that's right. And bring the microphone very close to your mouth.
Okay.
No. You need to speak louder than that. No. Okay. It's got to be louder.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bueno.
Thanks.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, and your relationship to this application.
My name is Ingrid Blanco. Last name Blanco.
And how are you affiliated with the church?
I am a member of the church.
All right, thank you. I understand you have a prepared statement. Why don't you share with us what you have to say?
Sure, thank you. I would like to just read the church history tonight. So Iglesia Cristiana Refugio is officially incorporated in June 2019, beginning with funding, membership of approximately 40 individuals committed to building a Christ-centered community focused on worship, service, and outreach. Prior to formal incorporation, the ministry sought to establish a stable place of worship and was graciously given the opportunity to share facilities with Somerset Baptist Church located at 9 Pershing Avenue, Somerset, New Jersey. This partnership provided a foundational space needed to begin structured services, leadership development, and community engagement. From its inception, the church has operated with a clear mission to serve both spiritual and practical needs to the community through faith-based outreach, discipleship, and charitable initiatives. As the congregation became established, the ministry experienced steady growth in participation, volunteer engagement, and community presence. In 2020, with COVID-19 pandemic significantly impacted in-person gatherings, Iglesia Cristiana Refugio adapted its operations to continue serving both its members and surrounding community. Worship services transitioned to a fully virtual format, maintain continuity of the ministry while prioritizing public health and safety. At the same time, the organization expanded its charitable efforts to launching regular food distributions initiatives to community assistance programs beginning in 2020. These food drives were sustained and consistently through late 2023, providing essential support to families facing food insecurity and economic hardship during and after the pandemic. Community outreach remains a central pillar of the church operational structure. Iglesia Cristiana Refugio organizes volunteer-led programs focused on food distribution, neighborhood support initiatives, and faith-based community events. These efforts are coordinated through ministry teams that oversee outreach logistics, volunteer coordination, and program implementation, ensuring that the church charitable activities are both organized and sustainable. Today, Iglesia Cristiana Refugio continues to grow as a mission-driven organization committed to evangelism, discipleship, and service. Its ministry program include local outreach initiatives, leadership development, worship training, and international mission engagement. The church ministry, music ministry, and worship development program also serve as an important platform for mentoring and equipping new leaders through structured training and discipleship. Through this ministry and charitable efforts, Iglesia Cristiana Refugio seeks to cultivate a community of believers dedicated not only to spiritual growth, but also meaningful service. By combining faith-based teaching and with tangible acts of support for those in need, the organization continues to expand its impact both locally and globally. All of this work reflects the church's guiding purpose, to live out Christ's teachings through service, compassion, and community engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any further questions for Ms. Blanco, but if the board does have any operational questions, another representative of the church, Cam Del Feliz, is here to answer those operational questions. But obviously, if the board has any questions for Ms. Blanco, we welcome those. But if not, then we are ready to move on to our next witness.
Any questions?
You probably answered this. How many members do you have?
About 60 members.
How many?
60, around 60.
6-0.
Anybody else? Okay.
Open to the public.
Okay, we're open to the public for this witness if anyone has any questions you want to ask her concerning her testimony. Seeing nobody, we'll close and then move on. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Ingrid.
thanks.
My next witness is Mr. Ron Sadowski. He is our site engineer. If he could please be sworn in to testify.
Testimony you're about to give truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Before you start, you had said that you were going to have another person come up and speak to operational issues of the church.
I said they would be available if you had any technical questions about the operations of the church.
I'll have questions.
I assume so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we have him state his full name, spell his last name for the record, his qualifications, and by whom he's employed.
Ronald J. Sadowski, Sadowski, 10 Edward Avenue, Edison, New Jersey. I prepared the site plan drawings. I'm self-employed. I've been a licensed professional engineer for 32 years. I've testified before this board on numerous occasions. I graduated in 1988 with a Bachelor of Civil Engineering from New Jersey Institute of Technology. And again, I received my professional engineering license in 1994.
And that's fine.
Still
Thank you.
current?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Sadowski, before we get into the site plan and some of your more technical testimony, I just want to orient the board to the site and the surrounding area. So up on the screen, is that a accurate representation of the surrounding area?
Of the surrounding area, yes, it is.
Okay.
Mark this counselor as A1. I know you previously provided, but for purposes of the record,
Okay.
the witness would indicate who the author of it is and the date.
This, I'll disclose. I took this screenshot today from NewJerseyParcelExplorer.com. So this is an aerial view of the property taken today.
Has this been, he's gathered and not provided?
This was not provided, so it's correctly
You'll
marked.
provide a copy to Ms. Woodbury?
Certainly.
Thank you.
The next exhibit that we're going to show was, in fact, provided. And Mr. Sadowski, if you want me to zoom in on anything for the sake of the board.
This is A2.
Yes. This is A2. This is the first page of our site plan. The page is marked S1, and the date is of this document is December 1st, 2025.
This cover drawing contains the bulk schedule for the property along with the key and zoning maps showing that the property in question is surrounded by residential R20, R7, R10 zone, and then the strip along Easton Avenue is within the OP, Office Professional Zone. The bulk schedule contains a breakdown of the site characteristics, the lot area, lot frontage, setbacks, etc. As was mentioned earlier, we are seeking several variances that exist that we are not exacerbating, such as the front yard setback along Easton Avenue. The existing and proposed will remain 22.4 feet. The front yard setback along Girard will stay at 19.7 feet, and the impervious coverage, where 45% is the maximum allowed, we have an existing impervious coverage of 50.1%. We are increasing impervious coverage at the parking lot side entrance to the building by roughly 70 square feet to widen the access area, but that has no impact or de minimis impact on the percentage of increase. It's imperceptible, so that's why it still remains 50.1% impervious coverage. Now, if we go to drawing S2, which is contained
Would this be
in
A3?
A3, thank you.
Okay.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
Not a problem. Please continue.
Okay, now this is S2, the site improvement plan, which is part of the application or the site plan drawing set. It depicts the building. It's a two-story building with a ramped access to the lower level from Easton Avenue and Girard. And then within the parking lot, there's another ramped access to the first floor or the upper level. What is shown on this site plan drawing is a restriping of an existing parking lot. The parking lot's not going to increase in size whatsoever. The curbing, the boundaries of the curbing are going to remain the same. It's just being restriped to provide 23 parking spaces, which includes 2 ADA accessible, van accessible parking spaces. There will be a new painted stop bar, a stop sign, and stop lettering on the pavement that accesses. It's a two-way access from Girard Avenue, and the entire lot will be milled and resurfaced to give a new appearance. There are no other site improvements proposed. There is an existing 19 feet separating the parking lot from lot 10 to the south, which is the top of the page, and also 19 feet to the west, which is lot 8. It does reduce to 7 feet where we have an existing wall which hides the concrete pad, the dumpster pad that exists, and that will not change.
I have no further questions for Mr. Stowski. Does the board have any questions about the site plan?
I have a bunch, but what we need to do is go back to Mr. Sadowski.
Yes.
Let's go back to your first picture that you put up there.
Okay. That one or the second one? This one.
I think you wanted this picture.
Right there.
Okay, so
Don't move.
don't move it around. Probably gonna be helpful.
Grab a mic, Bob, please.
Use the mic. Vic?
Bob, use a mic. Just grab it.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm good. Now, where's your building on this picture? Is it here somewhere?
No, a
There's
little bit
pool.
to the right. To the right. That there, where the cursor is. There you go.
Okay, that's
it. Correct.
That's your building.
Yes.
And when I looked at it, when I first looked at it, so you really, there's no other building between Girard and your building.
That is correct.
Okay, so, and there's, as you've described it, there's a ramp to the first floor or the upper floor?
The upper
and then
floor.
And there's a ramp to the lower floor?
That's correct.
How do you get from the lower floor to the upper floor?
Interior stairs.
Okay, all right,
I
so,
believe the architect will describe more of that
okay.
during testimony.
And here's your parking lot,
Correct.
and you get into here we go. You get into the property here.
From Girard, that's correct.
Okay.
Enter and exit through Girard. There's one access.
All right. And this is a traffic question, but I'm going to bet that you can answer it. There's no barrier on 27 to a left-hand turn.
That's correct.
I'm sorry, Easton Avenue, no 27.
Easton Avenue, yes, that's correct.
Okay. And it also looking at this, it looks like, how far back does the property go past the parking lot?
19 feet to I'll call it the bottom or the south.
This north-south stuff doesn't work with me. So you're...
I moved it again. I apologize.
He's doing it again. So what happens here is that in this direction, there's 19 feet
yes.
there. Okay, but you're already over the limit with the impervious coverage.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Yep, thanks.
Any other questions?
Do you want to go over any of this stuff or no?
Just one question. Mr. Sadowski, and excuse me if you already addressed this, the TRC, are you going to comply with the technical comments in the TRC report?
Yes, we can do that. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
All of them?
Yes, all of them.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Then we'll open to you're finished?
Yes, no further questions for Mr. Sadowski.
Open to the public. If there is anyone who wants to ask this witness questions concerning his testimony, this is the time. No one seems to be taking it up, so we'll close to the public, and you can move to the next witness.
Thank you.
I think my preference is, Mr. Shepherd brought it up before, and I have the same concerns. Maybe we should hear from the person in charge of operations or whatever. It'll give us a perspective for the witnesses to come.
That's fair. That's fair enough. So, Kendra, why don't you come up?
Good evening, everyone.
Please raise your hand.
Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, and indicate what involvement you have with the applicant.
My full name is Cadmiel Feliz. My last name is spelled Feliz, and I work as a financial analyst for the church volunteer.
For the church what?
A financial analyst.
Okay.
So, Mr. Feliz, could you remind us how many members of the church are there?
There's approximately 60 members.
Okay. Now, we're going to see in a few moments after your testimony, we'll see some architectural drawings about floor plans that will show really this building being designed or modified to accommodate two spaces, the house of worship area and then associated office space and dining space. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And those two separate spaces will never be used at the same time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So just to make it perfectly clear, when the house of worship area is being used, the office space and the dining area will not be used.
That is correct.
And when the office area and the dining area is used, the house of worship area will not be used.
That is correct.
So
You're
what,
missing, I'm sorry, your question, I liked your question, but it's missing one word, kitchen. So the kitchen and the dining room and the offices, that's all one group that will be, when it's in use, the area of worship area is not in use, and when the worship, when the area of the kitchen and dining room, etc., is in use, the worship area is not in use.
That is correct.
Okay.
so can you tell us what will, I think most people understand that the house of worship will be used for religious services, but what will the kitchen, dining area, and office spaces be used for?
So the office spaces will be used for staff to conduct one-on-one meetings with certain members if they need to have a kind of any kind of sessions where they discuss any topic, personal issues, kind of a counseling space. And the kitchen area and the gathering area will be used for social gatherings for the church. So meanwhile that's being used, the worship areas will not be used.
Okay, and nobody is going to reside at this property, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So how frequently will the kitchen and dining area be used?
I'd say we hold activities once or twice a quarter, not too often.
Okay, and how many people do you expect to attend these activities or events?
Typically, attendance ranges from 60 to 70 people.
Okay. Now, for the house of worship, for the church services, what is your religious service schedule?
So we hold services 4 times a week, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and Thursday online service.
Okay. For those in-person services, does every member drive a car?
No, we usually expect families to arrive at a church, and they come together.
Okay. Do you provide any transportation services?
At this moment, we do not, but we are open to doing that in the future if need be.
Okay. Do you have any idea of how many congregants might live within walking distance of the church?
I can't say off the top of my head, but I know there are a few people that do live close to the church.
Okay. I do not have any further questions for Mr. Feliz, but I'm sure the board does.
What are the times? What are the times of the services?
So on Tuesdays, we hold services. I could check the schedule real quick, but typically from 7 p.m. to about 8:39.
And then those are the weekdays?
Yes. So Tuesdays, 7:30 to 9. From Friday, we hold service from 7:30 to 9 p.m. and Sunday from 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay. Is this a facility that will host or perform weddings or funerals?
I don't believe so.
Just to follow up and clarify that question. Sometimes when people get married, they might have the ceremony in one place and the reception in another. When you were answering the chairman's question, are you referring to the reception not taking place on site, or you wouldn't even provide the wedding service or the funeral service?
As to a funeral service, I don't expect us to hold, the full funeral service. But if there is an event, I guess if there's a kind of reunion to commemorate somebody and there's a meeting at the church, I think we'd be open to doing that.
I have a question about the name of the church. It's Iglesia Cristiana Refugio. And what does refugio mean?
Yeah, so refugio translates directly into refuge. So the name basically is a Christian Church of Refuge. It ties with our mission. We want to be a refuge for people that need help, need support, and want to be a positive force for the community.
So, and the people that you offer the refuge to are the members of the church, or is it some broader group that you invite to receive help from the church?
That's a great question. Our church is fully inclusive. We accept people from all backgrounds, colors, creeds, walks of life. We look to share a positive message for everybody, and we're totally open to the entire community of New Jersey and the United States, both online as well as in person, to be a positive force in their lives.
Let me try and ask that question in a different way. Do you offer any refuge services now? Any help to people now in your church?
Yes.
And who are the people? Are the people who are receiving these services, are they members of the church?
Yes, we offer that to members of the church. As Ingrid testified in the past, we held food drives for the community for a long time, and we ended that in late 2023, and those were fully open to the entire community.
Okay, all right, I get that. Thank you. Those are good answers.
Thank you.
I have a question. How quickly is your congregation growing? Like compared to 2 years ago to now, has your membership grown substantially?
It's grown pretty well. When we first got incorporated in 2019, we had about 40 people, and now it's grown pretty strongly. So yeah, that would be my answer.
And you expect it to continue to grow?
Yes, we would love to have more growth and be able to serve as many people as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that was going to be my question too. But what is the maximum capacity of the church? How many people can you get in there?
Yeah, so 64 people was what was stated. So I guess the concern from the board would be if we have dramatic growth, let's say we have 100 people in 3 years, how could we accommodate all those people? So the answer to that would be we would hold more services to be able to accommodate as many the people that come, and that way we would still stay below whatever's the established limit for the property. So we'd never be above that.
Because just to reiterate, at this time, you only plan or intend to offer a single service on Sundays, correct?
At this time, yes. If need be, we're open to expanding that to have multiple services.
Are there any other activities, maybe religious instruction or any educational programs you're offering during the week at other times than your services?
Yes, namely on Tuesdays we offer leadership training to the people of the church. So we do offer trainings. We do offer spousal support for marriages as well. We have a men's group. We also have a women's group. We also have children's ministry, and we do global missions as well. So a wide variety of activities that we're involved in.
And these would cover every day of the week at some point, or is there a regular schedule, or are they by need or by appointment, or?
Yeah, so those don't run every single day of the week. We have special days that we dedicate to those ministries. So let's say we want to hold an event for the men's group. We would have, let's say that Friday, we would hold that special service for men's group. Or let's say the kids want to have a special event, we would have that Sunday dedicated to the children. So it wouldn't be outside of the regular schedule.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a couple more.
Do you have a pastor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, my pastor's right there. That's my father.
Does he live on the premises?
No, he does not.
Go ahead.
No, that was it. What he asked was what I was going to ask.
Any other questions? That's the complete extent of the activities that take place. Nothing special, no special holidays or festivals or anything like that?
No. Up to now, that is the extent of the activities at the place.
Okay. Again, any other questions?
Just one. Oh, go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
Okay, let's get into parking. You have 22 spaces required and 23 spaces proposed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and what if you do get bigger? What are you going to do with overflow parking then?
So if we run into a situation where we have overflow parking, we will establish another service time so that we split the amount of people that come to the church.
All right. And then what about the requirements for the basement, and because there's 54 total spaces required if you that's probably where you were going with this, 54 spaces required for everything for the congregation upstairs and the basement?
Yes. So I guess if you could reiterate your question.
I wish I could.
If I could try to assist, so the area that on its own requires the 23 spaces. That's the house of worship area.
That is correct.
And that area will never be used at the same time as the other area.
Correct. One at a time. So there'll never be a situation where we're holding a service and there's also an activity simultaneously happening downstairs. It'd just be one or the other.
Let me explain that a little bit. So when an application comes in, basically when it's an application for a house of worship and there are more than one areas that can be used for assembly, I, as the staff, as the zoning officer, I can't necessarily, in my opinion, make the call that one area is going to be used for service and another area is not. So I've always taken the position that, all of the areas that could potentially be used for service should be included as, towards the parking requirement. And then what, this applicant is saying, and it is consistent with a lot of other applications, they're basically testifying now to you that they have the one area that's their worship area, and they have a second area basically for fellowship, I would assume, after their services, and for that reason that they are not going to be using both of those simultaneously. And I'm assuming that they would be agreeable to that as a condition of the approval.
Absolutely.
I think that's the intent of their testimony. So again, I just wanted to clarify that to you. Again, I don't feel it's my position to kind of make that call. They need to prove that to you and see if you're satisfied with that answer.
So is it your recommendation, or at least interpretation, Mr. Healy, for the board, that minimally there's a parking variance for the fellowship use because 23 spaces are required and the calculation requires 32?
I think the answer is that, for practical purposes, the worship, the area that they're actually proposing for the worship area results in a parking requirement of 23. Based on the square foot, I guess the fellowship hall just happens to be a larger space, so that kind of makes up the difference between the 23 and 54. I'm assuming that they're not going to have more people in the fellowship hall than were previously worshiping, in the previous hour. They're going to have, let's say it's 60 people worshiping. Can't imagine they're going to have more than 60 people going to fellowship afterwards. I would assume they probably have less. A few people probably, have to go about their day, and maybe, not everybody's going to fellowship at the same time. I'm assuming that's the way it would be. And perhaps if you could, I'm seeing some positive head nods, perhaps if you could testify to that.
Yeah, I can definitely testify to that. We hold, currently at the facility we're at 9 Pershing Avenue, sometimes we hold fellowship upstairs in that location. And, there tends to be a lot of overflow of people going away and going home and leaving. So not everybody that's at the service ends up fellowshipping.
The services that you provide in person, which is, I believe, 3.
That is correct.
Is that what you're currently providing at 9 Pershing?
That is correct.
Do you get the same number of people for each service?
No. So for the Tuesday services, typically we expect to see about 9 families. And around
Translates into how many people?
Translates to about 35 people. On Fridays, we expect to see about 12 families, which translates into about 45 attendants. And on Sunday, we expect to see about 20 families, and that translates into about 60 to 70 people.
Any other questions?
One more question. Typical question we have for a place of worship. The fellowship hall, is that going to be rented out to outside entities?
No, it will not be.
All right, thank you.
And what about sidewalks? Who do I talk to about sidewalks? The map doesn't, I can't tell by the map on the sidewalks. Would that be you or the?
We can bring Ron back up.
Would that be Mr. Sadowski?
Yep.
Yep.
Before Mr.
okay.
Police leaves, I'm going to bring back the engineer. That's the current membership, assuming no change, no increase, which I assume is the desire of the church, is obviously to increase the number of parishioners.
That is correct.
Is the applicant willing to agree that it will not rent out the fellowship hall?
Yes.
That's a condition of approval?
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, we'll finish before we move back one. Anyone in the audience like to ask this witness a question based on his testimony? If not, then we'll close that part to the public. And then I think there was another question for the engineer.
Just, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
I yield. Thank you.
So I'm once again displaying what was previously marked as A2. I believe Mr. Rich had a question about sidewalks.
Yes, it's hard to tell by the picture, but the sidewalks, do they go all the way around?
No, they do not. The sidewalks go to the ramp along Easton Avenue, and then there is a Township sidewalk that goes along Girard, and then in the parking lot itself, there is sidewalk that goes into the building, into the ramp that leads to the building, but not along the perimeter of the building itself.
And just a question for clarification, Mr. Sadowski. All along Easton Avenue and all along Girard Avenue, there is sidewalk, correct?
There is sidewalk and ADA ramps, correct.
Okay.
Anything else for the engineer?
Yeah, I'll say that in the TRC report, it says in number 4, provide a sidewalk access easement for the existing sidewalk along Girard Avenue. And the applicant has already said that they can comply with all of the numerated paragraphs in the TRC report, so I think we've got that.
Mr. DeLuca, is your client also in possession of the Environmental Commission's report?
We are.
Who is going to testify as to that?
We can speak to that right now while Mr. Sadowski is up here with me. Let's see. So the first comment talks about the buffer that we're requesting relief from. So, Mr. Sadowski, can you talk a little bit about the existing vegetation along the southern edge of the property, where actually it's along 2 edges of the property where the buffer is required?
That is correct. There's existing mature trees along those 2 property lines. We're not proposing to eliminate any of them. We do have, as I had mentioned previously, 19 feet between the edge of the parking lot and the property lines at those 2 locations, except where we have the dumpster pad, which has a block wall to screen the dumpster pad from the property line. That's where we reduced down to 7 feet. So we do have the 15 feet in the other areas.
You have 15 feet, but you don't have the evergreen trees there, right? You've just got some deciduous trees?
That's correct. We just have the deciduous trees in that area. That's correct.
Okay.
So that's their first comment. The second comment refers to EV make-ready spaces. That's one that the applicant is financially not in a position to comply with at this time. The same goes for the installation of solar panels. These are 2 issues that the applicant is open to and interested in the future when capital investment makes that possible, but at this time the applicant's not in a financial position to do that. Same goes for the pervious pavement. While the applicant is intending to mill and repave, the pervious pavement is cost prohibitive. So that's another thing that the applicant is not intending to comply with. The applicant will comply with the anti-idling signs, and the applicant will comply with bicycle storage stations.
Yeah, I'll just clarify. I think the second bullet, I don't think they're correct. They're saying that the EV charging stations are required.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. This is not a new site. EV charging stations come into play when you're adding new parking spaces. So I would consider the second bullet a recommendation.
Thank you.
Just to confirm for the record, Mr. Sadowski, the current number of parking spaces on the site is?
Well, that's difficult to give an answer because the striping is faded, and that's as part of this application. if we go by the legal 9 by 18 parking spaces, we have 23.
Okay. Thank you. So the comment of Mr. Healy then applies?
Yes.
Yes.
I have no further questions for Mr. Sadowski unless the board has further questions.
Anything else? Then we'll do another opening to the public since there was some additional testimony. If anyone wants to ask any questions about what you just heard, this would be the time to do it. If not, then we'll close and move on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sadowski. My next witness will be our architect, Ruchi Dar. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody.
If she,
Can you hear me? Good evening,
Now you
everybody.
can. Now we can hear you.
Raise your right hand, please. Testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, your credentials, and by whom you are employed.
My name is Ruchi Dhar. Last name is Dhar. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey. I am also NCARB certified and lead AP. I'm testifying today on behalf of architect Mistry, Yogesh Mistry, and I'm also licensed in the state of New Jersey, New York, and Maryland. I received my license in 2016, and my license is still active.
Okay, that's fine.
thank you. And Ms. Dar, as we go through your testimony, if you want me to zoom in or move around the exhibit, just let me know. And for the sake of the record, if we could please mark this as A4.
Just to make sure, the company upon which she is retained is, who is her employer?
I have my own company called RD Architectural Studio. I am testifying on behalf of Yogesh Mistry today, who couldn't make it to the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So
This is A4.
This is A4. This was provided with our submission. This is an architectural exhibit. It's a two-page exhibit, so this is page 1 of that exhibit, and it is dated with the last revision of January 7th, 2026.
Thank you.
So, Ms. Dar, if you could walk us through the existing conditions of the exterior. It looks like we're looking at some pictures, and then bring us through the rest of the plan, please.
Yes, as you can see, these are the existing pictures of the building. It's a 2-story building, basically a basement floor and a first floor. It is facing the intersection of 2 roads. On the lower side, if you can zoom in into the plans, the existing plans.
Sure. Let me do one more.
Thank you. So this is an existing building. This was rented out as 2 different office buildings for the doctor's office separately, and each floor is about 2,221. Actually, basement is 2,211 square feet. The first floor is 2,489 square feet. Overall, the square footage is 4,651 square feet. Like I said, both the floors were rented out separately, but for the office use, which is the doctor's office, it can be accessed through the ramp and the staircase. There's an existing ramp. If you see, let's zoom in into the basement floor first.
Okay. Is that the one we're looking at, or is it one over? Is it this one or this one?
It should be written at the bottom.
Sorry.
So that's the first floor. I can explain that first.
All right.
So the first floor has some office spaces, examination rooms, the lobby, a bathroom, a staircase at the back, which has those 2 exit doors exiting out to that parking lot. Yeah. Towards the left side, there's a ramp from the vestibule, and basically they can exit out from the vestibule through the ramp out to the parking space. This has the existing bathrooms, a mechanical area. There's the rest of the offices on this floor. So that's pretty much one of the floors. If we can go to the other floor.
This is the existing?
Yes,
This is the
these are
exist-
existing plans.
Yes.
So this is the basement layout. As you can see, there are some steps from Girard Avenue towards the left. There's a ramp facing parallel to the Eastern Avenue, existing ramp which is handicap accessible. The spaces have bathroom. There's a existing staircase that goes up to the first floor and out into the back parking area. The rest of the spaces are the offices and the circulation spaces. So now we can go to the second page, which is the proposed layout.
This is A5.
Yes. Thank you. Let me zoom out a little bit more.
Yeah. So that's the proposed layout for the first floor plan. We have the prayer hall that shows 64 seats, 64 pews. There's a staircase going out into the vestibule and out into the back parking. There's an existing ramp from the parking lot that goes inside the foyer area. There's a reception desk, a handicap bathroom, which is all new. So pretty much on this floor, what we are doing is complete interior renovation, providing an handicap accessible bathroom. The ramps are existing. Certain windows, we are closing it, that kind of gets affected with the walls. On the exterior, we are not doing much because we are keeping the windows where we can. Some of the windows that affect the wall locations are being covered up, and there is a shaft, an exhaust basically, the kitchen exhaust that is towards the north of the plan that is new. Up way top. So overall interior reconfiguration of the entire, both the floors, providing handicap accessible bathrooms. The handicap access to both the floor is through the ramp, and then we are also proposing an interior new staircase from the basement to the first floor.
Okay, and I know that there's an existing monument sign on the property, correct?
That's correct.
And will the applicant be utilizing that?
Yes. So it would be both-sided. It would have the illuminated signage. The post, we are keeping it. We are renovating it. Right. So that's 25 square feet, 5 feet by 5 feet, internally illuminated on both the sides.
I don't have any further questions for Ms. Dar.
Okay, anything from the board?
There was one question in the TRC report asking, explain how ADA access is provided to the basement should conform with barrier-free subcode.
So I would like to touch on that. As per the code, we don't need an elevator because this is a two-storied building. And what we have are the existing ramps that have access from the outside to the basement and a separate ramp from the back parking lot to the first floor. On the inside, we have the staircases. So ramps are the only way for in terms of accessibility to enter in. Now, in terms of making the space inside more handicap accessible, yes, we are providing spacious bathrooms that are handicap accessible. And a good circulation space, a good lobby, and a foyer area.
Okay, so the basement, is that, so the people would park in the back?
Right.
And how would a handicapped person, is that ramp in the front of the building?
Yes, that's facing Eastern because this building was basically two separate floors that were rented separately. So they have access through the ramp to enter in. So on the basement level, which is basically the lower level, the access, handicap access would be through the ramp that's parallel to the Eastern Avenue. And on the first floor, it would be through the ramp that's facing the rear parking lot.
So now, the place of worship is on the first floor.
That's correct.
it's kind of a basic question. You give me that look like, what? And then the basement floor is where you would have the dining room and the kitchen and
Right.
a lot of other things.
That's correct.
There. Okay. All right. Yeah, I get it.
So if I'm on the first floor and I want to go to the second floor, I have to go outside around the building and back in again?
So
There is no
If-
second floor.
Well,
to
first
the
floor.
basement and the first floor.
Basement
So
and the first floor, yeah.
there are 2 staircases, and again,
But
if
I'm
a
talking
handicap
handicap.
access, yeah, that would be through the ramp.
Is that ADA approved? I mean, is that something?
So as per the code, the elevator only comes in place if it's a mid-rise building. Since this building doesn't qualify or does not require, as per the code, an elevator to be installed, there is a certain there's 20% of the cost of construction should go towards upgrades towards the handicap accessibility, and we intend to put that 20% of the cost of construction towards making the space on the inside accessible. So, did I answer your question?
Any other questions? We'll open again to the public. Anyone wish to ask this witness a question? And we'll close to the public, and I guess move on.
Yes, thank you. Our next witness will be
Thank you.
Ms. Elizabeth Dolan, who you might have seen testify here once or twice.
You can sit down, Elizabeth. You don't make Gary stand, you know. Testimony you're about to give, truth, the whole truth, nothing but truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, your credentials, and by whom you're employed.
Elizabeth Dolan, D-O-L-A-N, Dolan and Dean Consulting Engineers, 181 West High Street in Somerville, New Jersey. I'm a licensed professional engineer with 40 years experience in the traffic engineering field. My license was recently renewed, and I've appeared here many, many times and been accepted as a traffic engineer, as well as throughout many municipalities in New Jersey.
Okay,
Thank you.
So what can you tell us about traffic patterns and circulation at the site?
Sure. Our office prepared and issued a traffic and parking study dated November 20, 2025, and that calls out the proposal for a 64-seat prayer hall, 23 parking spaces, and it summarizes on page 3 the testimony that you heard from Mr. Feliz regarding service hours and attendance levels. So we also compared that, and I can go through those numbers again, but you just heard them. And as I said, it's all memorialized in my report on page 3. I compared that with data published by the Institute of Transportation Engineers, ITE, and for peak service times, 22 entering, 23 exiting in an hour. If there were to be overlapping services, I would expect that, but I think that's going to be spread out a little bit more. You'd have the 23 coming in 1 hour, and then the 23 leaving after service was over. And as was discussed, if there is fellowship, some of those people are going to be leaving, some of them may stay and go downstairs. ITE has historically warned the user in both the trip generation and parking generation manuals that the trip and parking rates vary substantially for houses of worship because there may be ancillary facilities, more or less in different church sizes. My church, there's classrooms, there's a gym. This is a tiny church with 1 floor for regular attendance of services, and then the ancillary facilities in the lower level. So if you look at the trip rates based on square footage or seating, they're pretty close when you use those ITE ratios, but that goes to Also the parking, and as Mark Healy was discussing, every application that I've been involved with here in Franklin for houses of worship have required a calculation for all of the individual areas. Those parking calculations are then added, and there's a cumulative requirement. In this case, that cumulative requirement is 54 spaces. But if you look at only the seating capacity in the prayer hall, it's 64 seats. Divided by one space for every 3 seats, that's 21.3, rounded up to 22, and we have the 23. So I think there was a little bit of maybe some of the transposing of numbers during the earlier testimony about the parking. So it's 22 required for the seating in the prayer hall, and 23 provided. And that's really the sum of my traffic and parking statement that was submitted.
Any questions?
Yeah, what is your conclusion as far as the traffic?
Sure.
I must have missed that.
Well, I guess I kind of didn't go there, but thank you for bringing me back. The level of traffic activity, if it is in 1 hour, 23 entering and 23 exiting, that is well below the level that is defined significant in traffic engineering terms. That would be 100 or more trips in a peak hour. Also, as you heard from Mr. Feliz, the service times are outside of the traditional peak hours on the street system. Evenings on weekdays and even Sunday, of course. So we're looking at virtually no impact during the busiest peak hours on Easton Avenue and the surrounding roadway system, and this use would be taking advantage of the quieter traffic hours, weekday evenings and on Sundays. And as for the parking, the parking lot will be upgraded, as testified to by our engineer, 23 spaces that are appropriately designed and marked, and also the ADA compliant spaces, and we're going to be milling and repaving, so we'll have a nice smooth surface and delineated parking. So that's certainly an upgrade and an enhancement to the subject property.
So I've been waiting to hear whether it would be what letter of the alphabet, the intersection of, getting in and out of the parking lot onto Girard Ave, nobody's got a problem with that.
It's Easton Avenue.
They got to get to Easton Avenue, and they got to, that's not the easiest thing.
No.
What did you come up with?
Well, we did not do counts and an analysis of that intersection. I would say that, though, you're probably looking at the level of service D range to get off of Girard Avenue onto Easton. During busier hours, maybe as people are coming into the church and the volumes are quieting down on Easton Avenue, that movement into Girard, the left in, would probably be at A or B level. And then when the service is over, 9:30, I think it is in here. Let me just double check. At 9 o'clock, the volumes have quieted down a lot more, probably close to what you're going to see Sunday. And so that, maybe you're looking at a C, D. I think the left out, because it's 4 lanes there, you're probably looking at C, D most of the time when this is peaking.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How about the left into Girard?
The left into Girard, that's going to be an A or B.
From Easton Avenue?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You're saying the left turn in is a what?
It's probably in the A or B range. That's left from Easton onto Girard. Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of shocking to me, because I think that's a really dangerous turn almost any time. But
it's usually how it calculates out. And again, we're looking at the quieter hours when this church is going to be generating peak volumes.
Yeah, but you're in an area with high traffic and not great visibility, not in terms of distance.
Right.
Somebody in the left lane, however minimal the traffic is, if you're in that left lane, you're accelerating, and then all of a sudden there's someone making a left turn. It's dangerous, but I don't know. It is what it is.
I would imagine we've got a layer of review at the county level. I was just asking, but we're not sure of the status of that yet, because that's their road.
No. Of course, the county's in the middle of their million study that's been taking 20 years to do, so they
Well,
may have some recommendations.
Yeah, I know they made me add a left turn lane on a similar roadway over in Edison recently.
Any other questions? We'll open to the public. Anybody want to ask any questions? Then we'll close to the public, and I guess it's bring on your planner.
All right. Bring it home with Mr. Kevin O'Brien. You want to present? Oh, the aerial? Sure.
Testimony you're about to give truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, your credentials, and by whom you were employed.
Kevin O'Brien, professional planner, licensed by the state of New Jersey. My license is current and in good standing. I'm employed by Shamrock Enterprises, Madison House, Suite B, Madison Avenue,
We're
Rowan, New
okay
Jersey.
with that. I'm just surprised now that we don't have a reserved seat for you somewhere. Anyway.
All right. Thank you very much.
I have a question. Mr. O'Brien, did you provide a written report for what you're about to testify to?
No, Mr. Shepherd, I did not.
I thought that professionals were required to submit a report in order to be able to testify.
That is not a requirement that I'm aware of.
Okay, but we seem to get one from traffic all the time, but so there's no requirement that a professional provide a report as to what he's going to testify to.
There's nothing to stop the board from requiring it.
We can.
Is your mic on?
Yes? I said the issue is there is nothing to stop the board from requiring it. And there are other boards in the area who require planning reports, amongst others, at least 10 days in advance of the hearing.
I certainly can't ask Mr. O'Brien to provide us with a report 10 days before he testifies, since he's about to testify now. But I think that's something we should think about.
We would need to put that in our operating procedures, I assume.
Yeah, we'd have to discuss it. I'm not even sure if the other professionals, I'm not sure if that's addressed. I think it's just a course of how, I think some of the other reports like the engineering, the site engineering, the traffic engineering, those are more, a lot of their testimony is technical in nature and has to be more backed up with, technical information. So I think that's why, the stormwater report, to the degree that they're testifying to that, that's something that obviously has to be reviewed and vetted by staff, and to advise the board so we can advise you on the accuracy of their reports. Whereas I think planning testimony is a little bit different, and sometimes, to the degree that architects, I would think similarly provide, even though they provide the architectural plans, some of their opinions that they express are done through verbal testimony, not something that's written in the form of a report. And I think planning testimony is largely similar to that kind of testimorough as opposed to the more technical stuff.
I'll indicate to the board that the neighboring municipality here in the county, owned as Hillsborough, requires all of their applicants, professionals, to provide their reports 10 days in advance, including the planner, to avoid the surprise planning testimony of what a surprise, here's my opinion that I've never seen or anybody's ever reviewed. So I'm just letting the board indicate on that. Obviously not for Mr. O'Brien this evening, but.
Yeah, I'm not opining. I'm just explaining, I think, the difference, why I think the board is operated in this way.
Okay.
And if it's ever a checklist item in the future, is something we will certainly provide on future applications.
We will comply, yes. Mr. Bernstein, I was in Hillsborough last week, and I've never been asked to provide a report there.
Then somebody didn't ask you for it, because it's required at least by the plan. I can't talk for the zoning board. Planning board requires it.
Okay, yeah. Zoning board.
That's a separate issue. Planning board requires them.
Certainly.
All right. Thank you. Mr. O'Brien, can you tell us a little bit about the site, the surrounding area, the relief that we're seeking, and how it stacks up against the municipal land use law?
Certainly. We're here this evening for a D3 conditional use variance to convert an existing vacant medical office building into a house of worship. There are pre-existing bulk variances that you've heard testimony about already for the buffer, for the setbacks. Those things are there, have been there. They're not being changed in any way. We're also seeking preliminary and final site plan. A D3 use variance needs to be reviewed by the board, and the burden of proof is that we've got to show you that there are special reasons which are rooted in the basis of planning as shown in the municipal land use law and the goals. But as an inherently beneficial use, this is a religious house of worship. By statute, it's been shown to be inherently beneficial by the legislature and its infinite wisdom. I think Brent Franklin told us that no person or their property was safe so long as the legislature is in session. So, but the legislature has made this finding. It's an inherently beneficial use. It's one that serves the needs of all citizens of New Jersey. We have to meet the positive criteria that's showing that the use is compatible with the master plan. Then we've got to meet the negative criteria that's showing that this application will not have a negative impact upon the community or the township. And that burden of proof is met through the SECA balancing test, which is one that is used for inherently beneficial uses. So in terms of the unique aspects of this application, which we've got to show you to set up the basis for the burden of proof, this is currently in the OP office professional use, professional zone, excuse me. It's got an interesting mix of uses, 1 and 2 family residences, office uses, professional uses, mixed-use buildings.
Wait.
Yes, sir.
I want you to kind of explain that a little bit to me, because it's my understanding, and also from my visual view, that the 1 and 2 family houses are all along Girard, and that there are, except for the couple of professional uses that appear, they're all on Easton Avenue. So there's no professional or other kind of businesses along Girard.
Oh, there are none along Girard, no.
Right.
Sir. No, I'm just saying that this is what the zone allows for.
Oh, okay.
The OP zone, office professional zone.
Right, okay.
Allows single and 2 family residences, along with office professional uses and mixed-use buildings.
Okay.
So it's a combination of uses. And as we know, I don't know how far back you want to go, but let's just say the Great Recession of '08, a lot of economic forces are out there that have continued to today that are the death knell for so many small professional offices. And in the medical field directly, so many small medical practices are now enfolded into larger practices in newer buildings, and these small offices, there's still some, but there's not an awful lot. This building has been vacant for over 10 years. All the permitted office uses have a much greater intensity than what has been described in the operational and the traffic testimony this evening. The office uses, particularly a medical office use, for those of us who maybe frequent a doctor a little more than we did in our youth, there's a lot of people in these offices, and parking and intensity is a problem. This use is extremely benign compared to those very, very busy, intense uses. Their peak times are in the evening and on Sundays. The house of worship does do good deeds as shown in prior testimony. So let's talk about the special reasons that are shown in the purposes of the municipal land use law. Item A, alpha, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in the state, to promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. F, encourage the appropriate and efficient expenditure of public funds by the coordination of public development with land use policies. G, provide sufficient space and appropriate locations for a variety of uses. L, provide a desirable visual environment. And lastly, M, encourage coordination of the various public and private procedures shaping land development to the more efficient use of the land. This application advances those purposes by providing an inherently beneficial house of worship that is much less intense, that will take a 10-year plus vacant property. And I don't know if anybody's gone by there or seen it lately, but I don't know how many security signs are on this building, the big, I mean, it looks like Stalag 17 with the do not approach, and if you break in here, you're on camera and all those other things. The church is not going to do that. It's going to look lived in. People are going to frequent it. It's going to be a much better environment for the community. The master plan does discuss in the community facilities element public facilities such as these community services, and amongst the goals are provide adequate community services and facilities to serve the needs of all current and future residents in the township. It talks about providing those adequate services to fit the needs of the township and its people. The negative impact is addressed by looking at the Sika balancing test, where we identify the public interest at stake, in which case this is an inherently beneficial house of worship, and we identify the negative impacts it will have, and then what reasonable conditions the board can put on this application. We don't see any negative impacts to the community. The board has, through its professionals and through its questions this evening, talked about a number of conditions that will make this plan a better one for the community and the township. The Cox reference book, Planning and Zoning in New Jersey, that all your professionals use, has this statement about a conditional use variance. And it says that a conditional use variance need only justify the municipality's continued permission for a use, notwithstanding the deviation, meaning that a conditional use has been allowed by the township. The use has been foreseen by the planning board and the governing body. So as a conditional use, it's one that's allowed in the zone, provided we meet a number of conditions that are listed in the ordinance. Here, we miss two of them: the existing buffer, the existing setbacks. I would conclude that based upon all the above and the testimony that you've heard this evening, that this application can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantial impairment of the zone plan and the zoning ordinance. I welcome your questions, Chairman.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. One of the things that is, in my opinion, a problem here is the size of the building and the intensity of use, albeit for short periods of time. In the traffic study, the writer indicated that on Sunday from 5 to 7, there would be 80 attendees, which is more than the applicant is suggesting at this hearing. And I'm a little troubled by the number of people that will be there, even for the short period of time that will be then they'll be going to down to from Girard down to down to Easton Avenue, and I see that as a problem. I also have a great deal of difficulty with the idea that the side setbacks and the rear setback, and I must tell you that when people refer to things as north and south, I can't do it really. But the sides of the setbacks are really pretty short. We don't have the appropriate buffering, and the applicant seems to be interested in not being required to comply with that. And I see especially the people next door to them on Girard, and also the people across the street on Girard, their life in their community is going to be affected by this, and I'm concerned about us allowing this to be put into this neighborhood. I agree with you that there are a lot of people going to the doctor, but I don't see that as any kind of a reason to allow this church to occupy this space. And I have to say that I'm kind of sad to be talking like this, but because everyone here delivered a very honest opinion, and it's hard to speak critically about this.
I'll let Ms. Dolan address that 80 number that you refer to. I'll let Ms. Dolan address that 80 number that you refer to, and then we'll move on.
Sure. Again, referencing page 3 of the traffic and parking statement, Sunday from 5 to 7 with up to 80 attendees of approximately 20 families arriving in 20 to 22 cars. So what the church is saying is that it's more like 4 people per vehicle as opposed to the 3 per vehicle, which is what we use on the ordinance level. And then Mr. Feliz tonight testified 60 to 70 people. So where that exact number comes in, I can say that from the information that I heard this evening, the current number of congregants is 60. So if there's a little bit of growth, maybe that gets them to the 80. And if they were to get to that level, then the testimony was that they would move to 2 services to accommodate any parking demands that were greater than the 20 to 22 cars for 80 people.
See, though, Ms. Dolan, the thing that I'm looking at is not, like they say, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. My comments are not really addressed to the cars, but to the fact that the facility itself is supposed to only have room for 64 people, and here we are, we haven't even agreed to let this happen, and we're over that number. So I was looking at congregants and having a place to sit,
right,
not really the cars.
Got it.
So just to repeat some of the testimony of Mr. Feliz, the church today only has 60 congregants. So if every single member of the church attended services, there would be a seat for every member. If the church grows beyond what it is right now, they will provide multiple services, so that if every member of the church attends services on Sunday, there'll be a seat for every member.
Except your witness then testified that 20 families come on Sundays, and when asked what 20 families indicated, it was 80 people. So I'm just saying what the testimony was, not what.
I think it was 60 to 70.
Well, there's another
but maybe we
issue
should
I've been
recall the
concerned
witness
about with this, because once the parking lot's full with 23 cars, there's no ability to park on the street. That's one issue. So if there's a few extra cars for those existing attendees, where do they go? Yes, you can add services, but that's reacting to something after there's already a problem. What's the tipping point? I mean, the statement in the testimony was that they would expect to grow, and I would expect that to be the case. I mean, that's natural. There is no room for growth. Where do you handle, if the growth is gradual and all of a sudden they wake up and you're getting 30 cars coming, when do you react? We can make conditions and everything, but these kinds of conditions are not really enforceable from a township point of view. And on neither one of those streets has the ability to accommodate overflow parking. And
Right.
that would be a tremendous imposition on both neighborhoods, in that area. That's a concern I have. Otherwise, I think they've done a lot of things to make the site adaptable to this. I think you could, looking at the overhead pictures here, I think there's places in terms of the landscaping and buffering where you might be able to supplement, especially on the rear where the parking is. But I have those concerns about how fast they would be willing, or to recognize how soon they're recognizing that they need extra services, and what do you do if you get stuck and there is a time when you need to put other cars someplace?
Well,
And the other
my recommendation would
before you answer, Mr. 2 of those parking spaces are ADA handicapped. So in reality, and we're not talking 23, you're talking 21 eligible parking spaces, because 2 can only be used by a certain class of drivers. So in terms of the comments of the chair and the vice chair, that you also have to take a look into. I don't know how many handicapped congregants there are. I don't know how many will come to services, but the parking spaces are 23 in total, including 2 handicap parking spaces. That's just simply for the purposes of the record.
And under ADA, 1 ADA accessible space is required for 25 spaces in a parking lot. 2 are being provided because we believe that there's going to be a need for it.
And in terms of the number of services and the number of congregants, I would probably recommend to my client right now that they bump it up to 2 services on Sunday to avoid the exact scenario you're talking about. Aside from the detriment to the community, I think it would be a detriment to any individual who wants to go to services and isn't able to, because they can't find a parking spot. So it's probably wise for my client to bump up the number of services immediately.
I think that's a reasonable offer. The thing is, you have to get people to buy into going to it. I mean, it's maybe not something that, it's something maybe that you work into a little more gradually. I don't know if you can just say, well, maybe you can. We're going to have 2 services Sunday, pick one. But it seems like there's a pretty relatively small, appearing to be a pretty tight-knit congregation. You may need to discuss this, and make sure you're getting people spread out, because there is no overflow. There's no place. Otherwise you're going to have people double parking in the parking lot. Something happens and nobody can get out. I don't know what the solution is on that part of it, because there is no space.
Well, I think this congregation's about to go through a transition anyway. They're not in this facility yet. So I think in connection with moving facilities, it would have to be a serious discussion and announcement to the congregation that they're adding a service. And to that point, the testimony was that they only provide 1 service in the evening. On Sunday, most people go to services in the morning or midday. So I don't think it would be a terrible burden on this congregation to make that transition.
Maybe on the pastor, but
well.
But I think
has to do 2 services a day instead of 1.
I agree with a lot of what you said, but the serious discussion really has to happen before we grant an approval or whatever it is, because after we do that, there's no turning back. You know, if that's a commitment that the church is willing to make off the cuff right now tonight, I might think differently. You know, but to me, that is a problem. That's all I can't say it any differently.
To a degree, Mr. Chairman, I don't know what the percentage is. To a small degree, the parking will be self-policing in that once the parking lot's full, there's nowhere else to go. And then the congregates are going to have to sort it out. But a wise congregation, as Mr. DeLuca is saying, will anticipate this and not wait for the last space to be taken.
Same applies to the same, however, applies to a function in the basement.
Yes,
the parking
of course.
spaces aren't getting any bigger.
Right.
And the number of people coming to a function is equally, you know, even if you can control the number of services, and even if you can indicate that no more than once, I don't know how the congregation is going to be able to stand out in the parking lot and say, okay, we're done. We've reached maximum parking space. Everybody else has to go home or circle the neighborhood until somebody comes. I don't think, you know, this is not like, for example, a synagogue where we gave out a certain number of tickets in the high holy days, and that's the number. The other issue becomes the use of the facility in the basement, and the parking spaces don't, and based upon the square footage, then though Mr. Healy did indicate it's not a variance per se, it still requires 30-odd spaces and a 20-odd space parking lot, so.
So, Mr. Chairman, perhaps, and Mr. DeLuca, you perhaps may have been heading in this direction. I mean, as you'd stated in the beginning, we only have 5 voting members.
Yes.
And the board is obviously giving you a number of things that they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to suggest, you know, that the board, that you have an opportunity to, you know, listen to what the board's saying, perhaps come back with some answers.
And that is our intention. We are going to take your concerns into serious consideration, come up with some solutions rather than just promises on the record tonight, and we will present those to you at a later date.
Before, this sort of became a morph from Mr. O'Brien's testimony. I think, one, if there are any other members of the board who have any other concerns they want to address, and two, I assume we're going to open it to the public for the purposes of the overall, though I suspect the public here are the congregants. So.
I would like Mr. O'Brien to give some further comments on what he thinks about the dearth of conifer trees around the property, the size and the nature of the buffer.
Any other board?
Yeah, we're on the calendar, but that's okay. You've seen the aerial. There could certainly be some more trees to the adjoining commercial building to the side on Easton. As to the residential on Girard, there's a lot of trees there. I think that perhaps between now and whenever the next meeting is, our site engineer should take a look at that and see if any augmentation can be put in there.
Okay. Good answer.
Thank you,
Any
Mr.
other
Shepherd.
board questions? Anyone in the public like to ask the questions for the planner? Then we'll close that part. So at least we put that part out. And then my feeling is that you want to reschedule to a little later date and go over those things. I don't know if we have anything more that we can add to it tonight.
Okay, so you had indicated that they may need to check with a couple people. Would they be able to do that in 2 weeks or no? I mean, are you looking to go to the next meeting, which would be June 4th?
If there's availability.
You'll have your answer by then?
Yes.
Okay. So then,
Who's got to come back?
So then, what we'll say is that this matter will be carried.
Well,
Wait.
before we carry it, Christine, the board think that's sufficient time to get the answers you want?
Oh, they're the ones that have to get the answers, so if
Right.
they think it's sufficient time, that's fine. My only
Right, that's what I
question
asked
is,
them.
do we want them the same night on June 4th?
Why would we not want them on June 4th?
Isn't that,
Oh, no, that's not Ukrainian. We moved them to June 18th.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. All right, so get back to you, John. If you feel that your applicant can provide those answers that the board is requesting of them, and Mr. O'Brien, if you feel you can give those answers in 2 weeks, then we'll carry this matter to June 4th at 7:30 p.m. here in this building. Is that acceptable?
Yes, it is.
Okay, if anything should happen, because I'm making this announcement, if you can't get your answers, then I will carry it on June 4th. And just so you all know, for your records, or for your scheduling, July 16th would probably be the next time.
Okay.
So, if anything should happen with the congregation or you can't get all the answers, then let me know and I'll make an announcement and I'll carry it on the agenda to that further date.
Okay. Mr. DeLuca, any idea when Mr. O'Brien, since we're going to commit him to something to do on Memorial Day weekend, will have his answers? Because I think the board would like to see them in advance of the next meeting. And there is a holiday, so I'm trying to.
I think that would be bloody unlikely, Mr. Bernstein, for a written report in 2 weeks, but I'll be more than happy to be there and testify. Unless it's a requirement of the board.
It's not a requirement at the moment. I'm just asking the question. I think the board would like to see something before they enter into a discussion versus hearing it for the first time on the night of June 4th. Unless the board obviously disagrees with me, which would be the first time, won't be the last time a client ever disagreed with me.
Mr. Chairman,
I think
whatever the
we're
board's
moving
pleasure is.
toward wanting to have everything we can in advance, so.
Okay, so what are we saying? We're not going, Mr. O'Brien saying he will not have a report, so are we carrying later, or what are we doing?
Didn't quite say that yet. Let's see what we're required to do.
Who makes the determination of what we're required to do? You, Mr. Thomas? I mean, I understand Eric made the suggestion. Oh, but he has to poll. Do I have to poll the board, Eric?
No, I'm not suggesting we do this 10 days in advance. I think the question becomes, the board has asked for a handful of questions. The board would like to see the information, I believe, in advance of June the 4th. I also understand that there's a holiday weekend coming up, and Mr. O'Brien, no one's suggesting he has to have a 10 days advance, he'll never make it. The issue is whether or not he can get it in more than when he sits down at the table at 7:30 on the night of the June 4th, is when the board first hears his pearls of wisdom. I think that's the suggestion here. And the other part is to get your people together enough time in the same situation. So no, I'm not suggesting that the magic 10 days that the law actually requires, forget the planner's testimony. But some time frame that meets everybody's desire. And by the way, right now we don't have a quorum.
So let me make perhaps a suggestion. Christine sends the agenda packet out typically the Thursday or Friday before the meeting. That would put it to
29th.
The 29th. So you don't have any other work, Mr. O'Brien?
No, none whatsoever. Mr. Healy, in fact, I'm retired in Florida with Mr. Lanford.
Don't you wish?
And commuting back and forth with him as well, I hope.
I'll make every endeavor for the 29th, but if I cannot meet that, Christine, if it's to you a few days before, do you have the capacity to send it out to the board?
I do have that capacity.
You're a wonderful secretary. Thank you.
Thank you. But what I was saying, that's exactly what I was saying to John. If something should happen that we can't, then we just carry it. I don't want to put undue pressure on anybody, not your congregation, not the board. This is coming up tonight. This is something new for all of us. So if you can't get to it, then you can't get to it, and I just make an announcement and put it on the agenda, and it's carried to the next time. That's all.
Yep. And I'll be in
Okay.
touch with you about that.
Right.
I don't see any reason we can't get the answers in 2 weeks, because these are pretty standard questions.
Okay.
But I will let Mr. DeLuca carry that ball at the appropriate
The
time.
board would have to make a motion to carry, and we'd ask the congregation to extend the time of decision to July 30th.
Yes, that's not a problem.
There's
I'll
only
give you
one
that in
small
writing.
problem. We don't have a quorum.
You've got 4.
I got 4 of it, and 9-member board. I lost number 5.
It's a 7-member board.
Seven-member board.
We lost number 5, so we're fine.
Yeah, you got
went
4, that's a quorum for 7.
You left, okay.
Wait, he go into the bathroom. He's right there.
As I said.
Could I just ask the board,
He's back.
other than Mr. O'Brien, was there any other witness tonight that you felt like you needed additional information from?
Well, I'm
Any
assuming
expert
Mr.
witness?
O'Brien is going to consult with Mr. Sadowski about the landscaping issue. I don't know who's going to be the person who wins the prize on that one ultimately, but
He was going to invite me to the pool this weekend, but, it's already washed out, but we'll sort it out.
I'm assuming somebody's going
I don't think we need architecture or traffic again.
No.
Because obviously a representative from the church.
Yes. Yes.
Then we're set.
All right, this would be, Mr. Chairman, a motion to continue application ZB 260001 to Thursday, June 4th, 2026 at 7:30 PM or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard, with the extension of the time of decision to July 31st, 2026.
All right, that motion's been made. Is there a second?
No, the motion's not been made. Nobody made it. I can't make it.
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Carried to June 4th.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can we take a couple of minute break while you, so I can go out and get
We
some of my
will adjourn for a few minutes before we start.
Before you turn Mr. Simon's applications in.
Back to order and move along.
Did you read?
Next would be Dream on Me Industries, ZBA 260002, C variance in which the applicant is seeking a number of sign variances associated with various signs installed on site at 45 Veronica Avenue, Somerset, Block 88.02, Lot 71.01, in the B1 zone.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, board professionals, good evening. My name is Rob Simon. I'm an attorney with Herald Law. It's good to be back here in Franklin Township. We're here for, as stated by the chair, a sign application by Dream on Me Industries. And Dream on Me is a New Jersey-based baby furniture and equipment retailer, cribs, strollers, things of that nature. We're talking about a property that contains a little over 48 acres. It's currently developed with a warehouse/office building, 425,000 and change square feet in the township's BI zone. The closest building to Veronica Avenue is a little short of 700 feet away. The applicant, as stated by the chair, seeks several sign variances in accordance with or due to various signs that were installed, unfortunately, on the site by a sign contractor without permits, which I will tell you up front, completely contrary to what the sign contractor represented to the operator when he signed on to do this job. So we're here, and I'm, as Mr. Bernstein knows, I'm a board attorney in a number of communities, and I tell my boards in these kinds of cases that the applicant, us in this case, is seeking permission, and they're essentially seeking forgiveness. And I say to these boards, and I will say to you, because it's appropriate here, that the one benefit that you can glean from these kind of applications is that, unlike the applications that you typically see every single month, where the engineer comes in and provides elevations, floor plans. The civil engineer might provide some renderings of what it's going to potentially look like. Here, we have photographs as to what it does look like, and for good or bad, it provides a board the opportunity to see in real time what the quote-unquote proposed project is going to look like. And I tell the boards, if anything, it allows you to maybe better assess the proofs that are being presented by the witness. So what we're talking about tonight are sign application for one large building-mounted sign on the northerly side of the property for the Dream on Me tenant.
Wait, can you? I need you to.
I'm sorry. Yep,
I
heard you. I heard you the last time.
Yeah. I'm not so good with the north and south stuff.
Okay.
I know. Is it the north side? Would that be the side that faces Route 27?
Veronica Avenue. Yes.
Do you have a picture?
We will. I'm going to get into this with the engineer, and I apologize for not
This is
orienting.
what you see when you go in the driveway.
Yes, correct. And then there's a shipping receiving sign on the rear of the building. So we're seeking various forms of variance relief due to the number of signs, because you're only allowed to have one sign for the tenant. And we're also seeking signage variance for the size of the sign in terms of the vertical height of the sign that we'll get into through the testimony, as well as we have a number of directional signs that are throughout the campus that we need. 14, give or take, signs that not only exceed the size, but also potentially the number. So with that, we seek bulk variance relief under 40:55D-70C1 or 2. We have a number of witnesses. We have Matt Sharrow from Dynamic Engineering, the civil engineer on the project. We also have McKinley Mertz from MJ Planning LLP, who's our professional planner on the project. We also have Steve Cacton behind me, a representative of the applicant, if there's any questions for the applicant. So with that, I'd like to have Mr. Sharrow sworn in, please.
I think before we get to that, I think we're trying
We have a problem.
to deal with Miss Woodbury is out from where she normally is.
I did notice that.
I'm
yes.
assuming there's an
It just
issue.
blipped, so let me see. I got another one.
That's the view of the property, Rob?
We had an artist rendering. Yes.
This has worked here before. Yeah, it just blipped again. On mine, yeah.
The church took all the mojo away.
Yeah, but I don't have your, do you have the plans? Yeah, it's HDMI. I don't know, it's HDMI. Oh, sorry. Mine did the same thing.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Apparently some people just don't have it tonight.
You know?
All right. Testimony you're about to give is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, by whom you're employed, and your credentials, please.
Matthew Sharrow, employed, S-H-A-R-O, employed by Dynamic Engineering. My credentials have been testifying in front of boards for about 10 years now. I've had my PE license since 2016. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering, and I've testified in front of your planning board multiple times. I don't know that I've ever been here, but I've testified in front of planning and zoning boards throughout New Jersey.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Sharrow, you're familiar with the project and the subject?
Mark this A1.
Yeah. So, Mr. Sharrow, you're familiar with the project and the property in the surrounding neighborhood, correct?
Correct.
So we have before the board right now a dynamic engineering plan. If you can please identify the plan, and I think we should, as per Mr. Bernstein, we should mark this as A1, but I first would like you to identify it based on the title block on the bottom right-hand corner.
Move the mic a little closer to you, Mr. Sharrow.
So this is titled Aerial Map Prepared by Dynamic Engineering. It's actually sheet 2 of the site plan set that was submitted as part of the application. It's dated 8/22/2024, last revised 3/30/2026.
Thank you.
So what you can see in the center of the screen is the building in question. This is the 425,250 square foot building. For reference, to the north of the page is Veronica Avenue, running in a left-right direction across the top part of the page. And at the bottom of the page is Bennett's Lane. Surrounding uses include the warehouse, industrial, office-type buildings along Veronica Lane to the north, and then to the east or to the right side of the page is an existing warehouse building and some wooded area. To the south is, and I apologize if I pronounce this wrong, Chakowski Farms. You can see the farmland here along Bennett's Lane. And then to the east or to the west, to the left side of the page, is another wooded space.
And with regard to the subject property, can you confirm in terms of the acreage and the size of the warehouse office building?
The acreage is 48, the acreage of the property itself is 48.456 acres, and the building size is 425,250 square foot of building space.
Okay.
Just for everybody to realize, this is sort of a flag lot. There's a long driveway, about 600 feet in from Veronica Avenue.
So your cursor is...
sorry.
You've said Veronica Lane a couple times.
Sorry, Veronica.
Is that incorrect?
Yeah, it's Veronica Avenue.
Okay, yeah, Veronica Avenue.
I'm getting
Okay.
Veronica Avenue and Bennett's Lane mixed up. So Veronica Avenue. Driveway comes off Veronica Avenue, about 600 feet to the first intersection to the drive aisle that wraps around the building and to the parking stalls that are in front of the building.
Okay, so Mr. Sharrow, can you just identify in your cursor on A1 where Veronica Avenue is, just so everyone can be oriented?
Veronica Avenue is up along, I would say, the top of the page here.
Yep, good. All right.
And with regard to this application, and as part of your submission, you provided the board with various photographs of the signage that is at issue here, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, can you...
Would you like to see that?
Yes, please.
So that would be...
We'll mark this as A2.
This is part of the existing site plan that was
Yeah, we're still
submitted.
gonna mark it.
You still want to mark it? Okay. So
this is, sorry, I'll just identify it for everybody. This is Exhibit A2, construction details. It's sheet 4 of the site plan set that was submitted as part of the application. What this shows is the...
And this, sorry, Mr. Sharrow, in terms of the revision date, same revision date?
Same revision date as before.
3/30/2026. Thank you.
So original plans were, sorry if I have them written down here, 8/22/2024, last revised 3/30/2026. What this shows is it shows the 16 images of the signs that are being proposed or installed on the site today, as well as the detail for a breakaway signpost that I'll get into in a little bit as part of the comments from your letters.
Okay. And with regard to A2, originally as part of the application package, bless you, there was variance relief requested in connection with certain bye-bye baby signs, correct?
That is correct. So a majority of these signs that are on this page had 2 signs, one for Bye Bye Baby and one for Dream on Me.
However, the Bye Bye Baby tenant is no longer.
Bye-bye.
They went bye-bye. Yes, and because Bye Bye Baby went bye-bye, those signs were all removed, correct?
That is correct.
Are you going to make each of those little signs big so we can actually see them?
I can zoom in if you'd like.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is if you can start with the first photograph and just identify, first of all, the identification number for the photograph and what it depicts.
Sure.
And this is, again, all on A2. This is what I'm going to call a photo board of 16 photos.
These are all existing signs, Mr. Simon?
These are all signs that are currently up at the property, yes.
So I can go through each one. I can flip back to the site plan sheet so you would know where they are on the site if you would like. But I can start with this and try to give you a direction as to where this is. So this is the directional sign one, or I can work the opposite way. I can work from the outside of the site into the site and around the site in an orderly manner. It's up to you guys. Doesn't bother me which way we do it. So this is, I can just go.
I would recommend, I think, for clarity of the board and the public, that we first go through all the photographs.
Sure.
And then to the extent that there are questions or you might want to identify where on the plan these particular signs are located, we can do that after.
Fine. So this is directional sign number one. It's 7.5 square feet in size. It has Dream on Me on the top and the shipping receiving with a right arrow. This is to direct trucks to shipping and receiving from the main drive aisle between the building and Veronica Avenue. Okay, moving on to the next one. This is a directional sign number two, 7.5 square feet. It's an exit sign. This is near the main intersection as you come off Veronica Avenue to let trucks and vehicles exiting the property from the loading zone towards Veronica Avenue. This is directional sign number three. This is 12.7 square feet. That's the combination of both signs here. The top sign is basically a shift in the lane sign, and the bottom sign is a sign that has Dream on Me and shipping and receiving in the left direction. This is as you come down that long driveway from Veronica Avenue to that shipping and receiving knows to make a left. This is a similar sign, directional sign 4, 7.5 square feet. This is a Dream on Me sign with the shipping and receiving arrow to the left. This is in the center median of the access driveway into the site. So this is prior to getting to that the parking area and the where the actual intersection is. It's kind of giving everybody a heads up that the shipping and the receiving is to the left.
And so before you go on from there, that photo is taken from approximately, without you flipping around, approximately where in relation to the building and the signage?
So it's probably 150 to 200 feet off, from the building.
Okay. So the photo was not taken from Veronica Avenue?
No. There's another photo of a sign closer to Veronica Avenue that you'll see in a second.
Okay, go ahead. Thanks.
So I apologize why I move this to the next signage. All right, directional sign number 5. This is 12.5 square feet. This is Dream on Me with the main office with an angled arrow for passenger vehicles to make the right, and then a no right turn sign with the no right turn angle with the circle and the slash through it for trucks. They don't want trucks making that right into the more I'll say pedestrian vehicles or typical vehicles for the office use, making that right into that parking lot. They want all the trucks to make the left. Next sign is it's as you come around that turn towards the offices, there's a Dream on Me, no truck sign on the right side of the drive aisle. And it is sign number 6, 7.5 square feet in size.
What's the lettering at the bottom?
That's a good question. Let me zoom in. Oh, no trucks beyond this point. All right. So this is the same exact sign. This is sign number 7.5 square feet. This is just on the other side of that driveway. So they're tandem signs, one on each side of the driveway.
And again, to Mr. Bernstein's question, no trucks beyond this point on the bottom, and then Dream on Me on the top.
Correct, yep, identical to the previous sign. This is a private property, no trespassing sign. This is located as you come into the site and enter that main intersection off the driveway.
Is there a similar sign at Veronica?
Yes, which we'll get to in a second. This is a directional sign, sign number 12, 7.5 square feet. This is letting cars know to exit to the left as they leave the loading area. Okay, only a few more here. Zoom back in. So this is the...
Can you just make that just a little bit, wider, just so we can see what number we're talking about?
Yep. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. So this is directional sign number 9. This is 9 square feet. This is the private property, no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted. This is towards the front entry off of Veronica Avenue. So this is the first sign you'll see when you come into the site, and you can notice the building in the background.
And you can sort of see a little bit the Dream on Me right there.
You can sort of see the business sign that's on the building that I'll get to in a second.
Right now, is this essentially the driveway off of Veronica Avenue that we're on here?
Yeah, you're about, I would say, 40 to 50 feet in from Veronica Avenue.
Okay.
Okay, now we're up to directional sign number 10.
Yep, so I'm going to do 10 and 11 at the same time. So this is the same exact sign. It's 7.5 square feet in size. Dream on Me on the top, no trucks beyond this point. This is at the opposite, the far end of where the trucks enter the loading zone. So that the trucks enter the loading zone on the right side of the building. This is at the left side of the loading zone. So to let trucks know to not go through that parking area where the offices are. This one sign's on one side of the drive aisle, the other sign's on the other side of the drive aisle. Oop.
But and further, that as we're going through these, each sign is identified, and it's identified with its size.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
This is a directional sign as you come around the side of the building towards the loading zone. Dream on Me, shipping and receiving with the right arrow. Directional sign number 12, and that's 7.5 square feet. All right. One more row.
You have 13 directional signs?
14.
Oh, good.
This is another exit sign to as cars are leaving the loading zone. It's a left arrow. It's 7.5 square foot. This is sign 14. So this is the last of the directional signs. And this is to direct the loading vehicles and after they unload or load to go towards the driveway to Veronica Avenue. This is one of the wall-mounted signs. This is 123.7 square feet. This is on the back of the building. This is above the shipping and receiving door. It states Dream on Me, shipping and receiving office with 2 arrows straight down. This is located at the center of the building in the loading area.
I'm not doing well with the back of the building. What does that mean? Does that mean it's facing Veronica, it's facing Route 27, or is it facing the woods?
It's facing the woods. It's I'll call, and I can go back if you'd like.
No.
No, it's facing the farm it's facing the farm.
Okay.
And Bennett's Lane on the back side of the property.
Good.
And then this is the main sign, business sign, Dream on Me with the 3 stars.
Let's identify. It says wall-mounted sign.
Yep.
2.
Yep. Wall-mounted sign 2, 348.7 square feet.
348?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's on the front of the warehouse. That's the sign you can see from a couple of the images in the background from Veronica Lane and from other images looking into the site from the drive aisle from Veronica Avenue. So that's the 16 signs in question tonight.
Okay, so you have 2 big signs and you have 14 little signs, a number of which say "Dream on Me," and the 2 big ones are pretty big. Okay, I kind of got it.
Okay.
Wait, which way does this one faces Veronica?
Correct. This one faces Veronica, and if you give me a second, I can find the one picture of the. I don't want to move around too fast here.
The photo from Veronica Avenue.
That's number 9.
Was it number 9? There you go. So, so this is the one that's about 40 to 50 feet from Veronica Avenue. That's the "Dream on Me" sign in the back.
Which you can't hardly read because of the foliage, right?
Correct. Well, you can read the "Dream on Me" part from this angle.
And the board's TRC issued a memo dated May 19th, 2026, that had a comment regarding all ground-mounted signage to be installed on a breakaway post, and that the sign shall be mounted 7 feet above grade, and that a number of the directional signs do not appear to meet this standard. And the comment was, any signs not installed consistent with that standard should be reinstalled consistent with that standard. I'm paraphrasing.
Yep.
The applicant has no issue with that, correct?
Correct. That's so the breakaway post, as you see on a lot of the stop signs and other traffic signs, it basically has a base that sticks out of the ground, and then the rest of the post is bolted to it, and that's so when if a vehicle or something hits it, it breaks away, as opposed to bending the sign or impacting the car or vehicle more than it should, and those signs will be reinstalled with that breakaway format to your town standard, and then we will raise the signs up to the MUTCD standard of 7 foot to the bottom of the sign. So just for reference, that's basically that's like a rural urban requirement for pedestrian sidewalks, people walk around sidewalks. So. But in this area, we don't really have the sidewalks or pedestrians walking around, but we will still raise them to 7 feet.
And the Environmental Commission issued a memo providing comments on the application, and I believe the only one that we need to talk about is a question that was raised as to whether any of the signage, whether it's the wall-mounted signage or the directional signage, is illuminated.
It is not illuminated.
Are there any particular signs that you want to show the board where they're actually located on the site? Or would you rather just ask the board?
Yeah, if the board wants to know, I have a site plan here, I have the aerial here. So if there's any particular one of these signs, 1 through 14, that you would like to see where they're actually located, I can show you on the plan. So it's up to you. It's your call.
So, Mr. Chairman, I just have a few questions related to the directional signs, and I think these are appropriately directed to the engineer. So, and I'm sure the planner can opine as well. So, 2 of the variances. One is the size of directional signs. The limit is 3 square feet. And these signs range from 7.5 to 9 square feet. Is there any reason in your opinion, why these signs need to be larger than permitted?
So in my opinion, the actual length of the driveways and where these signs are directing larger vehicles to go to, yes, I believe that the size of these signs are appropriate. And also to separate the truck traffic from the office traffic, I believe those signs are important for safe circulation around the property. And then, not to mention, it's not shown in these pictures, but recently there are fire lane no stopping or no parking signs located every 50 feet along all the curb lines on this property. So it would be important for these signs to be larger than no signs to signify that these are directional signs. Otherwise, they will blend in with those fire lane no parking signs that are along the curb every 50 feet.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Healy, let me just interrupt this for 1 second. I neglected to ask you when you were qualified, Mr. Shower, you have visited the site, correct?
I did.
Yeah, okay, go ahead,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right, and then the other one is, and I'll preface this by an explanation for the requirement. So our ordinance says that directional signs, well, first of all, it recognizes the need for directional signs. If it's a retail environment, for example, it may say customer parking, it may say drive-through, so there is a need sometimes to direct the motoring public to different areas of the site. But the ordinance says you can't have corporate logos. And I think the reason for that is, you could have a situation where, let's say it's a McDonald's, and they put up 20 directional signs throughout their site, and they use that kind of as a loophole to just add more signage throughout their site. And that's not really necessary for the directional purpose of the directional signs. So I wanted to explain the reason for the restriction for corporate logos. A lot of these signs have the Dream on Me corporate logo on it. Is there any reason from an engineering perspective why that needs to be there? So,
2 reasons. First, there was 2 uses on this property in the warehouse. There was I forget what it went out of business. Bye Bye
Baby.
Bye Bye Baby, and then the Dream on Me. So there was multiple uses. So we want to direct the people to the right uses in the right areas. And then there's also a secondary building beyond this building, and I can go back to the aerial to show you. It was under construction in the aerial, but that will be helpful as well to signify where you are on the property. I apologize, it's taking a little. So this building has access through the driveway and up to Veronica Avenue.
Wait, just for the record, when you say this building, you're talking about a building immediately to the east or to the right of the subject building, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Okay, 2 more related questions. The number of directional signs. I know one of the board members had started to make a comment about the number. There is no restriction on the number of directional signs, but again, the fact that there are more than 10 signs, a lot of those signs need these variances. So do you have an opinion on the need for this number of signs? Could a lower number of directional signs serve the same directional purpose?
I believe that this number is appropriate based on the length of the building and the size of the property. So as you come in to the drive aisle off Veronica Avenue, you want to see ahead of time, which way you plan to go. And then as you get up to this, a majority of the signs are in this main intersection area only because there is multiple ways to go. You can go straight, you can go right, you can go left, you can exit. The no trespassing signs are important for this type of use, warehouse use. So you want to have those typical signs in this main intersection area, and that's where a lot of them are located. And then there's the other ones that are helping people exit the site as they leave the loading zones at each corner. And then there's the truck do not enter signs, which you really want to be visible so trucks don't get into a situation where they can't back out or they're intermingling with more passenger vehicles. So yes, I do believe that the signs are appropriately placed on this property.
Okay, then last question. So the big white warehouse that we're looking at right there on that exhibit, that's where this tenant is. And then there's tenant space in that building that's where the Bye Bye Baby was? Correct?
No, the Bye Bye Baby and the Dream on Me were both in this building.
In this building?
Yes.
And then there's another, in this exhibit, there's what looks like a pad site. That's an additional warehouse.
In this aerial, it's under construction, but it's built now, yes.
Okay. And then, you may not, and the board may not be aware of this, there was an application before the planning board for 2 additional warehouses. They're going to share the same access drive.
Okay.
So my question is there going to be a need for, it looks like some of the signage has been proposed just for this, in a way, just for this one tenant. Is there going to be a need for additional directional signage for what's going to be a total of 4 warehouses sharing the same site? And if those additional warehouses come in, could the signage that's been proposed and been put in place, frankly, cause some confusion?
I can't opine on that because I don't know what the other warehouses are looking like, or what
they're going to be other tenants.
No, understood. But I don't know where they're going to. I don't know where they're going to be located in here, and how
Well,
for example, if they're to the left of the property, no trucks.
Let me explain. They're going to share the same access off of Veronica, and then to the degree that there's that road that goes to the north or to the above. Yes, they're going to share that as an access road, and then they're basically off the map to the right.
Over here.
And two additional smaller warehouses beyond that treat area. So. Again, there's going to be a total of 4 warehouses sharing that access drive.
I can't opine on that because I don't know, but I will say that, again, a majority of the signs are in this intersection, right? So some of these
the intersection, in other words, as you're going onto the site from Veronica Avenue and you're reaching the building.
Correct. And those signs, tell where shipping and receiving goes. That sign may be just enough for those trucks to run along the front of the building main access drive to those other warehouses. Again, I don't know that plan. I don't know what's going in there. I don't know what they're doing in there. If you were to go to the left, obviously those warehouses aren't there, so you would want to keep those 2 no truck turning signs you'd want there. All the ones in the intersection from the driveway off Veronica Avenue to the main portion and the main drive aisle of the use, you want those in there at that intersection to direct cars in the way to go. What happens beyond this shipping and receiving may sign to this loading zone. Maybe they do have another shipping and receiving sign of their own to get them off that drive aisle to their loading area. I'm not sure, okay. But this is appropriate for this use at this time.
Okay, yeah, and I think that's a fair answer. And in fairness, the question just occurred to me just now, so I put you on the spot with that question. What I would say is, if the board was inclined to grant these variances, what I would suggest is perhaps some language basically saying that, notwithstanding what the board may approve in this resolution, if additional tenants come onto this site that need additional directional signage, we'll have to reevaluate what's appropriate for the site as a whole.
We would 100% agree with that, because that's what, typically when you have one driveway access to multiple buildings, and the first one comes in and then the second one comes in, typically, from putting on a municipal hat for a second, we always have a reevaluation, because safety is the primary concern here, to make sure that there's no conflicting movements and there's no conflicting signage. So certainly we would agree with that reevaluation in the future.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I don't think I have any other further questions from Mr. Sharrow, unless the board would like, again, for him to identify a particular location of a sign that we went over on a particular photograph. Otherwise, yeah.
I guess my question is, we talked about what we're calling directional signs.
Right.
We have 2 really huge, it's supposed to be 100 square feet. These signs are almost 4 times as big. The 375 square feet. Why do we need signs that are that big? Who's going to be going to this warehouse besides truck drivers either picking up or dropping off?
So
again, we're going to have a professional planner answer all those questions, but from an engineering perspective, it's a fair question. So, Mr. Sharrow.
engineering perspective, the visibility of this building, the building's close to 700 feet from Veronica Avenue. So that's the first one on that main building. And proportionally, this is a long, taller building. So proportionally, you want a sign that is proportional and aesthetic for that particular portion of the building as you drive in. There's no other signage on it. It's that front sign, and that's really their only ID sign as you come into the building.
There's a front sign and a back sign.
Well, and I'm going to get to the back, the second back sign. So the second back sign is for shipping and receiving, and I will show on the screen, it's located at about the center of the building, right? At the rear of the building, the bottom side of the page, so in the loading zone, right? So as you come around here, it's a shipping and receiving office building. So as you come around here, a truck is going to want to see that building. So this is a very long distance from the corner as they come around this, that receiving door. So it's a visibility.
So let's just slow down for a second. So right now you were showing your cursor on the bottom left side, or let's say the southeast side of the building, and you're trying to demonstrate that as you're coming around. Go ahead.
So as the trucks come around the side of the building to the loading zone, they have to see from here to the center of the building for that shipping and receiving office. That's why that sign is larger on the back of the building, for that visibility, for that truck to be able to come in and see that.
I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense to me. Because your cursor, and we're getting into these north-south, back and front.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to.
And they're killing me. So
okay. I don't want to kill you.
We're on the right side. There you go. There's the cursor. Now, what you're saying? Now, where's that sign going to go? The sign's going to go in the middle of that, because that's all the bays down at the bottom of the building there, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you're going to put the sign there. He's going to come around the corner. He's not going to see that sign.
As he drive, I saw it today. As I drove down this, because I was wondering where it was too. As I drove down it, I could see it amongst all the trucks parked there.
And I can comment actually on the large sign that's there on the building. I think right next to it, there's like a university radiology, and twice when I've had to go there, GPS says turn, and I almost turned into Dream on Me, and I was very glad there was a large sign that shows you this is not where you have to go. So if it's that far away, you kind of need the large sign.
Okay. So if there's no further questions from Mr. Sharrow at this time, we'd like to call our professional planner. Any other questions?
We'll go through a token open to the public.
Open to the public.
Anyone
Yes.
have any questions?
Shame on me.
No, then we'll close.
Thank you very much.
And you have your computer.
Yes.
All ready to roll.
Mine. Yeah.
Yes. You can have her sworn.
We're flashing.
I know. I'll just say for the record, yay.
It was 4 at the half and 15 after that.
Yeah. So we can have her sworn, please.
McKinley, the testimony you're about to give is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
It is, yes.
State your full name, spell your last name for the record, your credentials, and by whom you are employed.
Sure. McKinley Mertz. Last name is Mertz. I'm a partner and co-founder of MJ Planning, LLP. Our address is 34 Memorial Parkway in Atlantic Highlands. I have a Master's of City and Regional Planning from Rutgers. I hold the National AICP certification as well as New Jersey's professional planning license. My license is current. I just renewed it a month ago. It is in good standing.
Let's go. That's fine.
Okay. And Ms. Mertz, you're familiar with the application, the property, and the surrounding neighborhood,
I am,
correct?
yes, yeah.
And you've been to the site, correct?
I have, yes.
Okay.
On my way here today.
All right. So maybe just first provide an overview of the project from a professional planning perspective, then we can get into the various variances.
Sure. I think our engineer, Mr. Sharrow, gave a really good overview. We have the aerial in front of us here. Just real quickly, we are to the top of the page here. You can see the neighborhood context that we are within. All of these buildings that my cursor is circulating around front on Veronica Avenue, they are all light industrial, warehouse type spaces, small office accessory, it looks like. All of them have loading docks, et cetera. We, as was indicated previously, have this flag lot entrance onto Veronica Avenue and sit behind a significant number of those other smaller warehouses. So we are, use-wise, very consistent with the area, but we are unique in the fact that we are behind everybody, and the building does not have really any frontage. To the board member's previous comments, when I visited, I was nervous I was turning into the wrong property at first, until I saw the Dream on Me sign straight ahead at the end of the driveway. I'm going to run through our list of variances. We've touched on a few of them, but just so it's clear, the first one being the code permits a maximum sign area of 100 feet for a single tenant for wall signs. We have two proposed wall signs. The large Dream on Me sign, again, that's at the base of that long driveway, is 348.7 square feet. The shipping and receiving sign at the rear here, where my mouse is circulating, is 123.7 feet. So combined, it's about 472 square feet. Second, a maximum of one wall sign per tenant is permitted. Again, we have two. The vertical dimension of wall signs is permitted to be 2 feet. And I can tell you, on a building that is 42 feet high, and I'm not sure how long it is, but this dimension from here to here is 700 feet, so we're over 14.
So when you say the dimension from here to here,
you're
talking about from Veronica Avenue to the building.
To the building is 692 feet. So we are, the length of this building here is over 1,400 feet in length. So two.
Wait, what was that you just said?
The length of our building is over 1,400 feet in length.
Okay.
So a 2-foot tall identification wall sign would be very inadequate. Again, and we're 42 feet in height. It would be very inadequate for either of these two signs. And
Inadequate in what way?
I'll get into the proofs in a little bit, but...
No, come on, I want you to tell me now.
But
Inadequate in what way?
Generally, if you're looking at 2 feet, which is roughly about this, you are not going to see that sign until you are standing underneath it looking up at it. So for truck traffic and car traffic, it is not big enough to help direct you until you are right at that sign.
Okay.
The fourth variance we're required, again, this was talked about a little bit previously, but the code prohibits the use of corporate logos on identification and directional signs. And as was testified to and you saw in the photos, all of the directional signs say Dream on Me, with the exception of the exit signs, which simply point towards the exit.
Also, the no trespassing signs didn't show the logo on them, but the man with the red pen in his mouth shaking his head yes. Does that mean I'm right or wrong? Okay.
It means you're correct. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't know who the red pen man was. We also require a variance. The directional signs cannot exceed 3 square feet, as was discussed previously, and our signs vary from 7.5 to 12.7 square feet. The ones that are 12.7 square feet are those combination signs where you have the directional sign for Dream on Me specifically, and then the ones that tell you to reroute around the median. Finally, this one was not called out in the TRC memo, but we did cite it just to be conservative to make sure we covered all grounds. There is another requirement that signs displayed for direction of the public, the total sign area cannot exceed 5 square feet, and again, all of our signs exceed that 5 square feet.
When you say all of our signs, you're talking about the directional signs.
Correct, thank you. So I'll go into all of our very specific proofs, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. This board, being the zoning board, is well aware of the C variance proofs that we have to prove to you. The first one, the C1 variance, often known as the hardship variance, that there is a specific component of our site that is existing, whether it's for the shape of it, the narrowness, the shallowness, that makes it impossible for us to meet or difficult for us to meet the ordinance standard. Our site, and again, I'm arguing that because of the huge size of our site and the huge size of our building, that the sign sizes and the number of signs required by your ordinance would be insufficient to promote the safe movement of vehicles, trucks, and people to the extent that they might be going outside for a break. The size of the site dictates the need for the size and number of these signs. The site is actually 24 times larger than the minimum lot requirement for this zone, which is 2 acres is the, 2 acres is the minimum. We are
almost 50.
Almost 50, thank you, about 48. So it's incredibly large compared to the minimum. The wall-mounted delivery sign at the rear is proportionate to the size of the building, again, as our engineer testified to. It's going to be large enough, and also when I drove by the site, I was not entirely sure what to expect getting to the rear of the building. But that sign did become abundantly clear. It is a long, flat wall, and so even if you can't read specifically what the sign says right away, you do see it there. And so your eye goes to it, and as a truck or a driver, you will know to look for that sign and what it says. It is very visible when you come around the right side of the building. I'm sorry, I'm using my hands, but it's very visible when you come around the right side of the building here and make that turn. The large Dream on Me advertising sign, again, at the, I'll say the bottom end of this intersection here, and actually it's even a little bit to the left. That is necessitated by the distance from Veronica Avenue and, again, the size of the building and the site. It's with full foliage, as previous board member pointed out, you don't even see the entire text from the roadway.
So the big sign goes on the side of the building that would be where your cursor is now.
Correct.
And the smaller sign goes on the side. The big sign faces Veronica Avenue. The smaller sign faces
the farm.
Well, past the farm is Bennett's Lane.
And yes, and Bennett's Lane beyond that. Yes.
And can you see the sign from Bennett's Lane?
You know, I apologize. I did not drive down Bennett's Lane this evening. I can say that there are a number of there are truck parking spaces at the, I'll say, the bottom of our site here, the southern end, along with some other equipment. This, I don't know if it's a retention or detention basin, is large, very large. I'll say the scale is very hard to appreciate in this aerial image. So while the sign may be visible, if you're really looking for it, I do believe that there are plenty of there's also lots of vegetation that's grown up way taller than I am. It might not be mature trees, but you have other vegetation associated with wet ground that is fairly tall. So,
and on this picture, exactly where is Bennett's Lane?
Where my
okay,
mouse
I
is,
see it
yeah.
now. I see the writing on it now.
And what's Ms. Mertz? What's the approximate distance from the building where the rear shipping and receiving sign is to Bennett's Lane, approximately?
So the distance from the building to the lot line is.
And maybe we need to get Mr. Shara up here to scale it off, but.
Do you have that number? He'll pull that up.
Okay.
I could estimate, but he has the exact number.
Okay, thank you.
So while he's pulling up, I'll continue if that's all right with the board. I also believe that all of our variances can be justified under the C2, what we call that the benefits of granting the deviations substantially outweigh any potential detriments associated with them, and that purposes of the municipal land use law will be furthered by granting the variances. Again, I personally think, especially the Dream on Me sign is aesthetically pleasing. It is suitable for the site and the building. If I can go back to it. We're not talking about a rectangular sign that's filled in from corner to corner. It's text and then 3 stars. And where the 3 stars are located, that measurement is part of what contributes to the overall square footage of our signage. So we don't have a solid sign that is filling up all of that square footage. So it provides, I think, a very nice and appropriately scaled for the size of the building, a very nice looking sign. But more importantly, both this sign and our directional signs and the rear signs are really for site circulation and safety. When we talk about signs, their location, their design, those are really the two things we look for, is aesthetics and safety. Can it be seen and can it help maintain a safe circulation pattern? And as somebody who visited the site for the first time today, and is a little bit dyslexic, these signs were incredibly helpful for me in a car navigating and knowing, as a car, I could navigate the entire site, but knowing affirmatively where trucks were and were not permitted to be. I know we're here for variances after the fact, as Mr. Simon said, seeking forgiveness, but if this was before you as a conceptual application, I would not propose smaller signs. I think they are completely appropriate for navigating the site.
And you commented, Ms. Mertz, about not only safety and a safe and efficient circulation, but also to segregate between passenger vehicles that are visiting the site, whether it's customers, whether it's employees, et cetera, and keeping them separate from tractor trailers or other larger vehicles that may be traversing the site.
Yes, absolutely. And I'll go back to the aerial. And actually, in fact, the site plan here is that we haven't spoken about yet. I don't know if you wanted to mark it. It was part of the original submission.
Yeah, why don't we, what's this, A3?
I believe A3, yes.
Okay, so why don't we identify for A3, what sheet is it?
This is sheet 3, and it's with the same revision date, March 30th, 2026.
Okay, thank you.
So I think we didn't touch on this before, but these circles here that I'm highlighting with my mouse, these are the locations of all of the signs we've spoken about. And as our engineer testified to, you can see, this is the bulk of the directional signage right here. So when coming south or downwards from Veronica Avenue, slowing down into this intersection, this is a big intersection. It's very wide, and you do have the option to go straight into the regular vehicle parking area. You have the option to turn right to loop around counterclockwise, or you have the option to turn left to loop clockwise. These signs were imperative to understanding where to go. For trucks, again, trucks could not go to the right or looping around counterclockwise. Those two signs were very helpful to understand that. And I'm not a truck driver, but I would imagine it would be helpful for them as well. I'll touch quickly the purposes of the MLUL that are these variances promote. Purpose A, promoting the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare, and purpose I, promoting a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. Again, I think the safety here contributes to our argument. I think the aesthetics of the sign, of the Dream on Me wall sign, really do fit the context of our site. And the practicality of all of the directional signs are appropriate for the scale and size of the site. One thing we've not touched on fully, but I think our engineer cited a little bit, was that we are very well buffered. This, again, my mouse is going along the driveway here to the top of our warehouse building. There's a line of vegetation on the properties to the north of us, the top of us. It's very dense. I hardly even saw the buildings on the other side of it. Again, this, and then to the right of the building, this is a very dense, there's, I don't know if it's a retention or detention, there's water in here. This is very dense. And of course, to the left side of our building, extremely dense. The farm is behind us, and you don't see tall trees, but like I said, the vegetation that's growing there is very tall. So we are really fully shielded by a lot of our neighbors. You're going to see, of course, the building from the rear, but the signage is not impactful. And finally, just to wrap up, I'll touch on the negative criteria, that one, the variances can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good or to your zoning ordinance or master plan. I've already talked about the size and my opinion of that, I think, extensively. And the fact that it's a flag lot and that we are behind our buildings makes it a unique situation. The issues at hand here are very singular and are not touched on in your broader master plan documents. There is no specific recommendations about our site or this signage. There was in your 2023 master plan a recommendation to amend the sign schedule. That was amended, and those are the variances we are asking for tonight. I will point out, though, that one of the stated purposes of signage in Article 12 is to promote signs which are orderly, readable, and appropriate to the activity to which they pertain. And it is my professional opinion that these signs accomplish just that, and anything else would hinder the ability to safely navigate the site. Also, the signs have been in place for a few years now, and they have not had any issues on the site in terms of traffic. And I'm sorry, not traffic, but
Or accidents.
accidents. Thank you. Yeah. And so it's my opinion that our proposal satisfies both the positive and negative criteria, and I'll take any questions, and then I'll let you guys go home and go to bed.
Any questions? No.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just going to share a screenshot real quick.
Do I need to
showing, because it just shows the building, the sign and scale with the, I mean, the building goes off the screen on my screen here, but, oh, it's not sharing. I need the cord. Oh, no, forget it. That's all right. That's all right. I don't want to hold up the proceeding. I have a good rendering that shows the Dream on Me signage. The good rendering that shows the Dream on Me signage in relation to the scale of the entirety of the building, but we can move on.
May I, Mr. Chairman?
Wait.
Anything?
Yeah, well, I guess I'd like to ask you, you've said now that these signs are really a good size for this building. But my concern as somebody who's trying to retain some level of reducing the amount of commercial clutter, I would say, is how big would they have to get before they were too big?
I don't have a numerical answer for you. I can say that, again, as somebody who is approaching this site for the first time, they were very effective in helping me navigate. Given it's very hard in photos, in aerials, to really comprehend the size of the site and the building. I don't think we need more signage, but I don't think less would be appropriate either. I don't have a number, though, to tell you how big it would be. That would be inappropriate. And I think that's a little subjective, too. Depends on your eyesight and your ability to read quickly while you're driving.
Any other questions? No?
No.
Make a token open to the public again. I guess no one wants to speak, so we'll close.
I would just ask, just because I want to clean up the record, if there's still a question about the distance from the rear shipping and receiving sign to the nearest right-of-way. Would you like Mr. Sharrow to provide that information in terms of the linear distance? Okay.
While Mr. Sharrow is coming up, Mr. Simon, for the purposes of the record, since this is a forgiveness application, how long have the signs been there? And before you answer it, were the signs changed, and if so, when?
When you say were the signs changed?
There was testimony that at one time there were two tenants in the building, and Bye Bye Baby and Dream on Me, and that there were signs that said Dream on Me and Bye Bye Baby. So my question is, one, how long have the directional signs in general been up? And two, since the directional signs that you placed up on the screen only say Dream on Me, when were they changed out?
Okay. Steve, do you want to go ahead?
No, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just answering the distance thing, and then I'll sit down. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
So the distance from the back of the building to Bennett's Lane is 850 feet.
Okay, good, thanks.
Yep.
So you can't see the building from Bennett's Lane.
And when were the Bye Bye Baby signs taken away?
The signs were taken away about a year ago.
Okay,
They were all put up at the same time.
Okay, so why don't you, let's go.
Make yourself comfortable. I know you've been here the longest.
Good evening,
Raise your
everyone.
Raise your right hand and get sworn in.
Testimony you're about to give is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your full name, spell your last name, and indicate your relationship to the applicant.
Stephen Kachtan, Kachtan, and I am the CIO of Dream on Me.
And so, Mr. Bernstein, the board attorney, had two questions for me that are better answered by you. I guess the first question, well, let's work backwards. The first question is, when were the Bye Bye Baby signs removed?
The Bye Bye Baby signs were removed about April 2025.
So a little over a year ago.
Okay. And I assume nobody sought approvals at that time?
Well, no, we had, I don't remember when the application was originally filed, but I know that it was filed soon, and I don't want to state specifically when, but we were contacted and filed the application.
Let's go to the second question,
Yeah.
which was the first question. How long have they been up there, period?
Do you know?
They were all put up in, I would say, October of 2023. September, October, around that time.
Thank you, sir. Listen.
Any other questions?
For this gentleman here?
Yeah.
I have one. Who's going to be going into, to go to this building?
It's mostly employees and truckers.
Okay, so, because that was one of the big questions. I know you're doing, the company deals with juvenile furniture?
That's correct.
Is that correct? But this is not a place for people to come and pick out their kid's new bunk bed.
No.
This is, you're like a, I guess, a wholesaler that provides a lot of product to a number of different companies.
That's correct. We do have our main offices there, so sometimes we'll have salespeople and administration from other companies come and visit us, but it's not a retail location.
And just one piece of curiosity, the inside's a one-story building, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No?
Okay.
So thank you. We've heard from our witnesses, and we've gone over the variances and the positive negative criteria. I will say to you parenthetically before you deliberate and vote, when you're dealing with these kind of applications, this asking for permission and for forgiveness. We take a look, at least in my office, a little bit more closely about what the application is requesting, and we got here, so what are we presenting to the board? And I would say one aspect of this application that cries out beyond even everything that was stated by Mr. Sharrow, Ms. Mertz, is that this is, in my humble opinion, the quintessential C2 Kaufman better zoning alternative for the property. So we zone, or the governing body zones properties, and the reason why you go before a Board of Adjustment is you are seeking an adjustment. That's why it's called the Board of Adjustment, an adjustment to what's in the ordinance. And under the Kaufman case, it talks about providing proofs that can demonstrate that what you're asking for is a better zoning alternative for the property, as opposed to strictly complying with the requirements of the ordinance. Here, given the size of the building, the size of the property, and the distance of the building and the related signage from both the northern right-of-way and the southern right-of-way, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of linear feet, justify, per the testimony that was provided, why the variances that may seem extensive on paper are really appropriate for this particular site and provide a better zoning alternative, we humbly submit, for this particular site under these circumstances, based on the driveway, size of the building, size of the property, avoiding conflicting movements, separating trucks and passenger vehicles, and promoting safety. So we ask you to vote favorably, and thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Any board questions? I don't particularly have any problem with the signs. I've driven by there a lot. they seem appropriate. I think the Dream on Me sign, I think, is overinflated in size because you've got those dots that are floating around that are included in it. I don't know what the square footage of just Dream on Me would be, but I think that is significantly smaller. As a driver getting old, I appreciate being able to turn in the driveway and see and be able to read what's on the signs. It's on your property. It's directing people to your facility. I think the condition that we might need to have imposed is, and it will be automatically, any of those other warehouses that are being having applications coming to the planning board will have signage issues. The whole process can be reviewed with each application, but the condition, I guess, would be that you agree to be a participant and make adjustments as determined necessary by either board, whichever one, I guess, would come before it. I don't know if we can do something like that.
One of the conditions would be that you would agree to come back to the board if there's a need for sign reevaluation. I believe you've agreed to that, Mr.
Yes. The mechanics, I'm not so sure about between the different boards, but the answer is yes.
Well, the point is, whatever the planning board ultimately does on that may impact yours, and they'll come back.
It's all about, the safety and efficiency.
And you're meeting also
avoiding conflicting
and you'll meet all
movements.
the conditions of the TRC memo.
Correct.
And a big thing for me is this affects mainly trucks that are on your property and going to specific places back in that area where there'll be other warehouses, and even people driving cars. I can't say it doesn't affect the general public as it does indirectly, but it's not the signs are not directly advertising. Maybe Dream on Me on the side wall is when they're facing Veronica, but the signs are there for a specific utility, and I don't have a problem with it, but listen to the rest of the board or entertain a motion.
Before I draft a motion, I just want to say that this is a problem that I see getting more difficult in the future. I don't like the idea that they're going to be able to see the name Dream on Me from Bennett's Lane. That's always been a very bucolic road, and that's basically changing that environment by allowing this sign. My father, when I would come to these kind of situations, my father would always say, well, Bob, the question is, where does a bald man stop washing his face? It's one of those questions of where's the point? Where do you need to be? And there really seems to be no limitation of the upside of the signage. The planner today testified that this was a really appropriate size, but I think that a size that is smaller might be another way to look at the appropriate size. There's really no good standards to work with here, and it's very tough for me to sit and ask questions and not feel like I'm just like grabbing grabbing and just getting thin air. I'm not really making any difference by asking those questions. So it's very difficult for me to vote in favor of the big signs. I'm more troubled by them than I am the directional signs, because those definitely do promote safety, and since the applicant has agreed that if There's other warehouses or other buildings that go up, and the signage needs to be reevaluated, that they're going to be willing to come back to either the planning board or the zoning board to do that. But we have no similar thoughts as far as the big signs are concerned, and I just don't know how to quantify what would be a good size. But I would say that the planner's thought is the only one that we really have to work with on that. So with that, unless somebody else has something else that they want to add, I'll make a motion. All right. Let's see. I move that we grant Dream on Me Industries of 45 Veronica Avenue, Block 8802, Lot 71.01, the variances. It is requesting under application ZBA 26000002, the variances for sign size and height on the warehouse building on that particular site, and that it may include all of the currently existing directional signage on the property, with the understanding that the applicant will be ready and willing to go back to the zoning board or the planning board, whichever is appropriate, to discuss and reevaluate the signage on the property that will be dealt with directional issues.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Before we vote, these are all C variances, so it's a majority of 4. All right?
Okay.
Whole board.
Wasim Verdas,
Yes.
Alan Rich.
4.
What did you say? Oh, 4. I'm sorry. Gary Rosenthal.
Yes.
Robert Shepard.
Yes.
Chairman Thomas.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.